Hello and good evening, everyone in chat. Welcome back to the Simrigs Sprint Series. Tonight we have two lovely races for the splits, blue and red. I am Sean Bubner, and with me tonight I have the good old Mr. George Cook. How are you, sir?
Doing very well, good. Doing very good. Yeah. Words will happen eventually, Sean.
They are a very complex thing to get out of our mouths at the best of times. So if you guys weren't sick of me last night, you get another batch of me tonight. Yay, look at that. We got the hamsters in the wheels working. Glenn's doing a fantastic job once again. We are about to see what, well, unfortunately, my old Armada, good old split blue here. I wish I was on track, but unfortunately, my wheel has said no. So we're in the booth instead tonight.
It's pretty unlucky, I have to admit, especially considering it's one little pin. Pretty small component, you'd think, but turns out absolutely everything on the wheel relies on those little pins, isn't it? But yeah, real shame not to see you out on track today, of course. But we're here for 15 minutes of qualifying, and we'll have a 60-minute race for everyone here at Paul Ricard. I'm sure we'll be talking about our opinions on this track at some point today, Sean, but 60 minutes, no mandatory pit stop today, so expect to see some very hot and highly degraded tyres out there on track, folks.
Yeah, especially with the track temp being up there at 34 degrees. It's a bit spicy. I think I've raced a little bit hotter than that. But unfortunately, Craig, yes, in chat, I will butcher more names yet again. Because English, even though I am born and bred Aussie, as all Australians, I butcher just about every second word that I speak. So it's going to be one of those entertaining first stints of the night. But yeah, Paul Ricard, a bit of a fan. I don't mind it. It's bit of a brutal track to sort of gain the time out of, especially how close to the limits you have to be through each sector, and more importantly, make sure you're still smooth, because one little oops and we are done and dusted. But have you done much time here at this track, George?
So my total race time here before last night was actually about 2 hours total. So no is the answer to that question. Nice little message there from Race Control. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Lovely to have you all in here tonight. So no, I haven't got a lot of experience here. When I did my quote-unquote track stars thing, I didn't manage to get 3 stars. I got fed up and quit the game. But having
typical Paul Ricard stuff then.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I gave it another shot in the last couple of days, and look, I'll be honest, it's not up there on my favorite listed track. As you said, it's tricky to find that pace, but I have to admit, I had some great battles out on track last night. I'm coming around to it slowly.
That's all that matters, as long as you're enjoying the stint behind the wheel. That is all that matters at the end of the day. But just switching to the quali at the moment, we're seeing the sort of usual suspects up the front of the grid. I mean, I wish I was part of the usual suspects. But Vediger's a bit pacey at the moment, but the times will start rolling through pretty quickly. But we're seeing Vediger here with a 53.6, which is disgustingly fast.
Yeah,
that is 9/10 up on Taylor in P2. Penfold P3 at the moment, our top Pro-Am driver. Appreciato sitting there in P5 at the moment, our top silver driver. But yeah, watch those times trickle down very fast over the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, 53's unbelievably quick. I think some of the top times here in the world are sort of, just into the mid 52s. So, 53.6, that is unbelievably quick. Smooth lap, of course, there from Vediger. So he's done very, very well. No sugar, no zero sugar on that Coca-Cola Livery Porsche, which we've mentioned before here with the previous Sean. Of course, we've replaced one Sean with another tonight, Sean Muller, who's usually the other fella here with me. He's unfortunately had some stuff to do with his family, so he won't be able to attend tonight. That's why we've got you for a couple of reasons. One, the wheel, but not primarily. It's because we needed an extra voice here tonight.
Yay! So. Lucky, I mean, poor you guys, and here I am. Can anyone just jump into Carter's comms here at the moment and just tell him that he's not allowed to do another lap, because a 55 dead is the perfect lap?
Yeah.
And just return to box. You don't need to do anything else. We'll just leave you where you are on the grid.
Yeah, in fact, actually, I'm pretty sure that time just shifts you up to P1, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, I mean, it does now.
Yeah,
I mean, yes. I don't. Anyone object to that? No, I don't hear it. No. Okay, yeah. Carter P1 on a 55 flat. There we go.
Yeah, the flattest flat. I mean, that's 0-0-0.
Box.
Yeah, get back in there. You don't need to go for another lap. But yeah, so 55.0. That's it is actually quite an impressive time. I was barely out of the 55s. I couldn't get a 54 to save my life here. I don't know what it was. I was just yanking the car around the circuit, trying to get some sort of pace, and just finding absolutely nothing. On board with Sitherwaite at the moment in the lovely blue Mercedes AMG, the 36 car. Currently at the top of the silver in terms of qualifying right now. And finding some time out there, 0.3 of a second. That's going to put him, I think, pretty much up into the low 54s. So done a 54.7 already. But there's plenty of people finding time out there. That's one of the things I've found here is just you can find you find yourself with a little bit of time on all sorts of corners, but putting it together has just been a nightmare.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But also the way the game has unfolded in recent with the current patches and 1.9, the tires do take that little bit extra to get into that grip phase. I mean, it used to be the brand new set when you get rock out on the the 3 value or whatever it was called. Used to be you'd have optimum grip within the first half a lap. Whereas these days, it normally takes about 2 or 3 laps to actually get those tyres into that window where they do like to be their most sticky. And we see him do a 53.8 there for... Oh, that's Convoy. Look out.
Yeah.
I've been stitched up. My rival, my teammate, my good friend is absolutely flying at the moment with the 53.8, sitting in P2. He definitely knows the way around that McLaren. I dare say tonight, judging he's doing 283 outside of a tow, that he'll be running little to no wing, and that would not be surprising in the slightest.
Yeah, well, I can tell you as a McLaren driver, yeah, if you run wing on this thing, you are slow. That thing won't even crack 280 kilometers an hour when you've got 3 or more wing on the rear of it. So, yeah, he'll be running with 0 wing there, which makes it really difficult in the quarters. Like I was really struggling with that yesterday, and I was talking to Convoy as well. This is his favorite circuit. He keeps telling me, he rambles on about it. He really does like to go on, and he didn't like it when I was telling him that it's a piece of crap. Oh, going a little bit sideways there. Yeah. Holds on to it, though. It's actually, you can get away with the slide in that corner, because there's a couple of different philosophies about how to attack that turn.
Yeah, if he was in a Nissan, I'd say, yeah, it was a much faster line, because if you watched Burst last night, I think he spends 90% of the cornering at 45 degrees.
Quite literally.
Yes, literally in the Nissan, but I don't know how that man gets the speed out of that car. It's certainly not something I'm capable of, but we've JC decided this is not the try. He's going to come back in, chuck a new set of rubber on, and try again. But you had a lot more delta in that second last corner there for what could have been potentially a very low 53. But yeah, Vediger's here.
He's only sitting 800ths of a second behind Vediger at the moment. Vediger's going to go faster, I think. Well, he's already gained time on this lap, but hasn't gone faster overall. But there's Convoy coming out of the pits again, followed by an AMG of Sitherwaite. So yeah, that's top 3 at the moment. Vediger, and then you've got Convoy and Kale as well, who's put in a pretty good time in that Lamborghini. Not necessarily the strongest car here, but I happen to know that out of the corners onto the long straight, that thing gets up to top speed unbelievably quickly, but doesn't really have a huge top end to the car. Doesn't want to do 285 necessarily, but depends a little bit on setup too.
Yeah, I can confirm. I jumped in the Lambo last season. Taught me a lot. It's actually very nice to drive for a change. Yeah, low speed. This thing is an absolute demon under power.
Yeah.
But once it gets into that sort of, as soon as it sort of hits 6th gear, it's like it just hits a brick wall. I remember speaking to people that know far more better physics about this than I do, and it's something to do with the scoop on the top or something. It's like, I don't know. Numbers and physics. Oh, goodbye, car.
Oh, that's
not how you do that left-hander. But, that's definitely an exit.
Yeah, the 360 no-scope exit. That's what that is. Crikey. That's quite a moment to have.
But Kale's actually nailed this. Oh, he's actually lost a little bit of delta on the exit of the final corner, but still goes a 1/10.5 faster, which puts him at P3, just 2/10 behind Vediger and just a 10th behind Convoy. But
I think we've got to make a note here about Bowen.
I was going to say, Bowen, the top amateur driver, look out, P4.
I'm just trying to find him in the standings. Hold on. Because that is an unbelievable lap. And we have had a couple of things in Split Blue with the entry list being slightly wonky on occasion. So, for example, Leela Bell, who will be marked here as AM class, she's actually in silver. So I'm just wondering if the same is happening for Bowen. It maybe is, because that is an unbelievably quick lap there.
Might be the case. Might not be the case.
No, it is
Could
not the
just
case,
be,
turns out. Yeah, no.
Epic
he's AM.
sandbags. I actually had a really good battle with Bell last week, actually, at Nürburg's in the Porsche, and unfortunately we got into a little bit of a bit tangled up in an incident. It wasn't either of our faults, unfortunately. We just ended up being ricocheted off the track in the flooded track conditions at Nürburg, but very fast. Hats off. I think at one point got past, and then I couldn't catch, and then I could, and then so definitely deserves the silver, if not the pro badge, for sure.
That was tricky conditions, though, last time at Nürburgring. For those of you who aren't aware, it was Nürburgring at nighttime, like deep dark sort of thing, with a very large amount of rain, and AP Blue really got the flooded settings more so than others, I think, from memory.
It was a thing.
Yeah, it was rather. I think I was calling quite a lot of the runoffs, just the gravel runoffs,
Sorry
being
to
the
interrupt
lake.
you here, but we have Kale here, 3/10 up out of the final corner. He's going to take pole at the moment, the 53.6. Lost a little bit too, because he was actually a little bit higher than that. It was about 4.5 tenths up before the exit of the final corner, but didn't quite put it together. But better get here, a bit of a slower lap. Bowen, look out. No, we're back on the convoy. He's just under his delta. But he did sort of lose it in that second last. There you go. He's gained that time back where he had the slide last time. So look out if he's nailed the exit, which it seems he's done relatively well. Lost a little bit of the delta, but still holding on. Is this going to be good enough? I don't think so. Ooh. 4/100ths of a second off.
That is close, though. If he just had a better exit there out of the last corner, he would have been right there. He had plenty of time. So if he can just nail a similar lap and get around that last corner and get the power down properly, then yeah, he'll be in for a pole position. But yeah, refocusing, as we've been a little bit distracted on other things at this point. But 1 minute, 20 seconds left of qualifying to go. So this will be the last lap for most. And Convoy's already found a bit of time in Sector 1. In fact, not just a little bit of time.
A lot of time.
He's found a really large amount of time there. Oh, yep. We might have just seen him lose that.
In it. Send it.
Yeah. That's the one. Just got to, actually just that series of corners that you've just got to commit to it. Let the car do what it needs to do and just counter steer out of it.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was in the. I think we did 8 hours here. I think I was in a Honda. Once again, it was raining because why not? And that left-hander onto the Mistral straight here, death. Just absolutely. You were rolling the dice every time you were coming through. But Convoy's absolutely nailed that corner there. Managed to still hold this 10th up. Still gains a little bit through this double right. Oh, there's a big...
Oh, yeah. That's it.
That was...
that's one of the trickiest corners for me, has been. I don't know if it's just a McLaren thing, if it's anyone else. We've got Vediger here. He's up on his time, so this could be... Oh, Kale, actually, hold on. Kale has gone and done a 153.4. So he's now 0.185 of a second up on Convoy's previous time. So Kale at the moment holds the reins of P1. Through the last corner goes Vediger. Has he found any time? No, he has not. And that is qualifying over for Vediger. He'll have to be satisfied with what is currently P3 on the grid. So not too bad at all. Not what he'd want. Obviously, he wants to be up there in P1 because the challenge at the moment between the top two in the standings is between Kale and Vediger. And not finding any time here as well is Kale, so doesn't necessarily need to because Convoy's in the pits. In fact, the rest of the top 5 are in the pits. So unless Taylor can pull out 1.115 seconds, which he does not look like he's doing at the moment in the Ferrari, but unless he can pull out a really, really big time, P1 will, in fact, go to Kale.
Yeah, Kale has definitely been on the pointy end of the field all season. It doesn't surprise me that he is battling with Vediger for the top spot. And unfortunate that Convoy had a bit of a compromised line through that double right-hander. It is one of those very deceiving corners in the sense that if you miss it by half a mil, you're off somewhere in France. But, you know, once again, actually, Taylor's got a bit of a... Once again, everyone seems to be doing that late braking, which gains him a lot of delta, but just doesn't get on the power early enough and just lose it all before the start-finish line. But
Yeah, that is the tricky thing about the last corner.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I mean, it's easier to talk about doing it the right way here in the booth, but I can
Yeah, that's true.
guarantee you when you're trying to nail that lap on your flyer, then it's not that easy. But here we go, Carter. If you're going to do this, is he going to do it? He's going to break that 55 dead. I mean,
No, don't.
awesome, but you should have
Oh,
stayed where you were.
wait. So did he actually complete that lap? I don't think
He
he did.
did complete it. He dropped a couple tenths. I think he got a 54.8 off the top of my head.
Disappointing. That's DOTT. That's a disappointment of the day.
Hey, I like
taking
it.
a 55.0. But no, it was a good qualifying there. Really impressive from Kale. Puts himself on P1. Convoy will take P2, which is excellent for them. But in the championship standings, just to quickly run through your standings as they are, Kale and Vediger and Convoy are respectively 1, 2, and 3 in the pro category. McKellar, Thistlewaite and Bendik are the silver category 1, 2, 3 at the moment. For Pro-Am, it's Lewis, Ashley Vediger, and Parkin as well. And then your Am class, currently led by Sebi, followed by Lorenz, followed by Ring. So those are your top 3 in each of the classes here today, of course, if you don't know. Pro, Silver, Pro-Am, and Am are the 4 categories. So keep an eye out for those. You see the little badges next to their name. And we will be kicking off 60 minutes here. Now, the tricky thing about today is that there's no mandatory pit stop. So most people, if you see anyone in the pit, it's probably going to be from a drive-through penalty for track limits.
Yeah, I think last night, I think the fastest track limit was about 15 minutes. So
yeah.
it is a brutal track for those conditions. I mean, there's many instances. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 4, I think it's a bad one for it. Onto the Mistral, there's another real bad one. But yeah, there's lots of points. But as we get a little bit of a cycle through the beloved split blue, I wish my car was there somewhere, but it's not. So I can't even comment on how awesome my livery is because it's now in retirement. But hopefully I would be somewhere around here. About the P8 to 10 mark, it would be my guess. So just can we move a car out the way and just imagine mine there somewhere?
I'm sure we can reorganize the grid for that. Surely.
Yeah, no, just get Crispy out the way there. McLaws won't mind if he shifts off the grid for me. That'll be okay. I've battled him enough times on the straights that he knows that he's good. He's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Split Blue's been giving us a good show this season, so it is a shame not to see you on the grid. Of course, you've been part of plenty of the action. Let's just put it that way.
I've been all the action because I've been getting murdered. No. I've been doing lots of recovery drives. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's right. But impressive drives nonetheless. And there's your grid. So all, I believe, 28 on the grid at the moment. So we will be going for our formation lap.
And chopper cam?
Yeah, chopper cam. Here we go. This is where things really happen. This is where the magic happens. This is where Glenn and the admin team live. They live back here. They don't really look at the circuit. And lucky for us, we're in the comms box, so we get some good views. But
yeah, I got lots of screens and I got all this information. I got this pit wall live tonight, which I've never used before, so it's going to be interesting. But Bruno in chat, poll time was a 53.4. I believe
which is
it was.
Super quick, by the way. It's really impressive to see that kind of time. So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't get a 53 in my wildest dreams, mate. So to see that happen, I mean, it's just brilliant stuff. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, these top 3 guys, they're going to be fighting. I think that the opening lap has been in previous nights. So yesterday night was what's the technical term for it? Chaotic, I think.
Death.
Death. That's the yeah. A lot of people find themselves facing the wrong way after turn 1, sadly, and when you're going 2 or 3 wide into this sector that they're going through now, it's absolutely crazy. And then just to round it all off, you've got the giant long straight here, which I think is something like nearly 2 kilometers long.
Yeah, 1.7 or something, I think.
Yeah, so the huge slipstreams. You're going to have cars 4 wide potentially through here, and then into the fastest corner of the track, which is just it's just so much fun.
It is fun when you nail it. JC is probably going to lick the stamp and send it. Yes. Turn 1 is known to be pretty bad here, just because of when you go green on this one, you actually got a fair bit of straight to actually get up to speed. And obviously the cars at the back get the slipstream, get the tow, and come into turn one a little bit hotter than the ones at the front of the grid. And then you have your 3, 4, 5 wides, and that doesn't go well into a corner that can barely get 2.5 cars through it. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can show how to do it the correct way by not causing absolute carnage.
Very
But,
true. Actually, we're just
I
on.
don't think so.
No, that's right. I mean, we all wish them the best, of course, and no one wants to give the stewards a job tonight. But sad to say, I think they may have a few things to look at. But we'll keep ourselves with our fingers crossed. Just a little note here that Jay McKellar, who's actually came fourth last time out at Nürburgring, he's currently in P21, so not having a particularly good qualifying for himself there, because he is currently, I believe, leading the Silver Championship. So there's a few names that we were expecting a little bit further up the grid, a little bit further down. That's kind of the nature with Poor Ricard. Some love it, some hate it, some are fast here, some are slow here. And side by side they go for the last few corners of the warm-up lap. And with these track turn temperatures, you don't really need to warm the tyres up too much, and you kind of want to save the grip. But we saw a few cars darting around, but I think I'll leave it there and leave it over to you, Sean, for the race start.
Awesome. Let's go for another curse like I did last night. Of course,
Beautiful.
safety car, so
Yeah.
let's go for safety car number 2. No, I kid. But as they duck around the last corner, we are double file. Got our 2-lane highway here holding 80 Ks, waiting for the green light to start. We have Kale on the right-hand side of the screen and JC on the left in that blue McLaren as we're waiting for green. Grid looks very nice and tight. And away we go. We are green. Oh, look at the back. There's 5 wide already. But at the front there, Kale just launched that Lamborghini. And we see Vettiger with the Porsche get a better jump than Convoy and the McLaren. Mercedes up on the inside as well. No, closing the door. But JC P2 holds the second corner well. Ducking through the rest of the field here. And Thomas at the moment not doing too shabby. 3 wide still at the back. Actually, you know what? They've done that fairly decently, and I was trying to curse, but we got away with it on turn 1, but there's still lots of laps remaining. Fizzleswake here, P5. That was not a bad start. He almost got up there beside JC there, but... oh, no, there's some death. That is a car turned around. That might be continue. No, that's going to be, I dare say, so there it is.
Yeah.
And, oh, there's...
Oh,
no. Come
on,
on,
no.
Slow down,
guys. Slow down. Crikey. Yeah, I was about to say it's probably more of a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I'm glad I'm not the one in the steward's box at the moment, because I dare say there's some big sticks that are going to be handing out penalties over the course of the next probably 48, 50 minutes. So once they review all of that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Obviously into that part of the corner there, which is Camp Turn 5, I believe. I'm not particularly good on the corner names here, but I'm doing my best. It's a tricky one. We've got lots of people will be coming around the Turn 4 there at different velocities on the outside. Then people try to do dives, and because it is a tempting corner. Every time you see it, you go, "Oh, it's really tempting." But the way that you usually take the fastest line through there is to really do the cutback, and that means go wide, which means leave a gap on the inside. And looks like that might have been what happened. No confirmation at the stage, of course, but I think that's probably what ended up happening. We saw that a couple of times last night as well, sadly. And then, unfortunately, some not really ideal rejoins onto the track. Just not super safe, sadly. So, bit gutting. But actually, you're right, though. Those first few corners were pristine.
They were good. They were proving me wrong, and then they proved me right.
Yeah.
But looks like Scott Blair, Scope, was the one that missed out there. He was quite high up on the list, but now way down in P27, I think it was at the last timing line. But pretty sure we'll probably go back under green conditions as of the last corner here. Looks like we're starting to slow everyone down now, ready for a restart. Because obviously with the virtual safety car here, we don't need to do laps upon laps to get this back underway. And with a no stopper, we might as well get these guys up to speed well and truly into the race before wasting too much time. Let's see if Kale is going to launch on the last corner. Has not as of yet. But that Lamborghini in first gear, there it goes. Look at the launch on that first gear Lamborghini.
It's fast, man.
It is insane. But JC was almost up to spec with keeping pace, but you can just see how much more pull it has under power. But yeah, turn 1 here, looking good so far. Single file. The rest of the field looking pretty tame at the moment. That is an interesting livery by Appreciato. But not a big fan of the multicolored, but that's up to you to decide whether you think that is good or bad, chat. I'm not going to, tell you one way or another, but there is a right and wrong answer.
Correct. Yes, we've discussed this library a few times in the comments box here, and yeah, mixed opinions in the chat. Some pretty concrete opinions here in the commentary box, and but yeah, no, actually, generally speaking, the libraries here have been pretty cool at AP Blue. Everyone's got some good stuff going on. I do like what the Vedigers have got going on, the Coca-Cola no sugar and the Coca-Cola with sugar. But yeah, as we discussed before, for Preciado, it's not necessarily the colours. It's actually more so the tyres. Or the wheels, I should say.
I didn't look at the wheels, actually.
Oh, well, you're in for a real surprise, mate.
Do I want to look at the wheels? That is the question.
No, you know what? Just keeping on board with this, that's very, very wide there from Taylor. That is definitely an invoice on that, and nearly gets some contact there. In fact, that is Taylor, yes, with Bowen in tow. So a little bit of a 5-person pack growing here. And the top 4 are making off with it at the moment. Thistleweight still in tow with Vediger, and Kale still in the lead of this race. So it's looking pretty good at the moment.
Oh, look at Bell's on the inside here, the second last corner. Actually gets it nice and early done. Well done. That was actually, I wasn't expecting that to happen as easy as that. I thought maybe we'd be hung out to dry on the last corner there, but obviously had the inline speed, that Porsche acceleration tour on the exit of the last corner definitely helped with that overtake. So job has been done. As we jump back up to the front end of the field, look at these three, literally nose to tail, 4/10 apart. Thistleweight has dropped off these three. That's not surprising. These three are absolutely insane with their consistency and their race pace. I don't know how they do it. I've tried to keep up with them. I think I can do it for about 3 corners, and then that's about it.
Yep.
But yeah, just insane.
It's very, very quick, and you're right. It's the consistency as well, like to be able to lap. And these guys, there's no pit stop here, so they'll all be carrying at least 100 liters on. And we've got a race control message there. Yeah.
That would probably be your safety car infringement.
I suspect that's right. Yeah. Because that was a pretty big one, unfortunately. Actually, just looking around the grid here at the moment, I'm just going to run through the people who've won out the most at the moment. Lost the most, Ring down 16 positions. Carter is sitting in the pits. Boxall down 10 positions. Salvagio down 8 positions. And Ashley Vediger, who was caught up, unfortunately, in the action there, also down 4 positions. But the big winners are Scanlon up 9 positions. Parkin up 9 positions. McKellar up 6 positions. So our silver leader in the championship standings up to P15. And then Ben Thomas up 5 positions as well to P11. So it doesn't work out for some, but for some it does in fact work out. In fact, I remember exactly that happening for me in Split Yellow yesterday, where I had a terrible qualifying, and then thanks to some crashes, I was ended up quite far up the grid, which was really nice.
Well, that's not sometimes playing it safe or being smart about what you do or not do actually is the better choice, and then you can gain a lot of positions. At the moment, as we just duck over to chat, and this is a bit scary. We are 7 minutes into the race, and apparently JC is already on 2 track cuts. So that's 53 minutes remaining on 2 cuts to go.
So
Benfold just got a bit squirmy at a second corner there. Bell's going to have a look on the inside of turn 3. Nut decides better not to. Probably actually very smart. Tack onto the back here. Wait to get through this next section. Try to do the big switch back here and get the toe onto the straight. Let's see what the drive's like through here. Looks good. Not too crossed up. The Lambo has a big moment. That's definitely going to open the door.
Oh no! Yep, that door was going to close one way or another, and sadly, Penfold is absolutely gone. Crikey.
I'm just going to put my little commentator's hat on for a moment. This is not, obviously I'm not a steward at this point in time, but when you have that compromised line through there and you are slow, you do know there's a car behind you, and part of the rules, you must always leave racing room. It did look like initially, could be wrong, Penfold did turn across the nose there, so that'll be passed on to the stewards, and they'll have all the lovely camera angles to check out what the difference was between Penfold or Bell there. But my vote would be possible on Penfold, but don't quote me on that. Oh, that looks like it might be a bit of a cut there for Bell on the exit of that left-hander, which we named a Bub Now corner last night because I hate it.
Well, I'm going to remember that because that's a great corner name, the Bub Now corner. Fantastic. I like it.
Sorry to interrupt there, but we have a new race leader. JC has somehow gained P1 and is 4 tenths up the road. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but there may be a bit of an incident, or maybe got the toe down the back straight, but it looks like Kale's a bit slidey at the moment. Oh, Vetiga right on the rear bumper there of that Lambo. I thought they were actually going to collide there, but this is the time where JC needs to head down and keep that car pointing as fast and narrow as it possibly can around these corners, and see what kind of gap you can get above Kale while he can.
Yeah, I think that must have been some sort of issue for Kale there. I mean, it's too early in the... I mean, usually in this situation, I'd say, oh, Lamborghini doing Lamborghini things, it's burnt out its tires already, but we're only 9.5 minutes into this race, and I know the Lamborghini's not that bad on tires. So
no, it's actually very good on tires these days. So look at the speed difference here. That Lambo in the toe is doing well, but the McLaren zero wing, I dare say, it's just not going to have enough legs, because as soon as it pulls out of the slipstream, you just see it hit that brick wall, and it's got to has a big couple cross up, and he's gone.
He's gone. Wow, crikey.
I thought that was going to happen with the amount of cross up and counter the other there, so that was a touch of brakes through the corner, and that's just instant death in that car.
Is that just going in a little bit shallow maybe, and then having to overcompensate with the brakes, and suddenly the car rear end just says, no thank you, I'm not having that, and goodbye?
Basically similar case. Like most of these cars, you can't brake and turn at the same time, otherwise that happens. But being on the compromised inside line, trying to sort of stick the nose in JC's rear vision mirror, which if any of you out there know what JC drives like, he doesn't drive with a rear view mirror, so that's not going to work. Yeah, I think just compromised line, came in a little bit too hot because of the toe. Had to compensate with the brakes, and then unfortunately had a bit of a loop, as we see here, the replay of this Bell Penfold. Oh, hard to say on that angle. Oh my God, no. Second death. Stop, he's already dead.
That's right. Yeah, please stop at this point. But yeah, that's going to be a very, very tricky one. So Penfold had technically no car around him, so that radar wouldn't have been telling him much other than, hey, there's a car just kind of behind you to your left-hand side. But at the same time, you've just had a bit of an issue. You're going to be slow through the corner. Yeah, that's a really, really tricky one. I won't comment on it any further. We'll leave it for the stewards to figure it out, and that's what they're there for. And for us, we just get to comment on the death and the spectacle that is cars flying across the track. And Kale now down to 6. So I mean, he would have had... I hope he didn't impact the wall, so hopefully not carrying any damage on that car, because, yeah, in addition to spinning, if you have to go into the pits to get repairs, or if you're holding too much damage, that will seriously compromise you in this race. No mandatory pit stop here. So for those who are going to the end of the race, which should be everyone, with no pit stop, you're going to fall quite a ways behind if you have to pit for any reason. So don't know quite what's happened with Kale, but still holds the fastest lap, which is, so you can take that as a bonus. But down in P6 right now.
Yeah, I think we worked out last night the transversal time is roughly 30 seconds, plus if you're taking tires, another 30 seconds, so you lose a minute, plus damage. Yeah, you do really have to work out whether that's actually worthwhile, because obviously with no one else going to do a mandatory stop, you are going to lose an absolute boatload of time. But if your tires are squares, then it might be the best option just to, come in, suck up that little bit of time penalty and see what can happen. Because, yeah, long race still to go, just over 45 minutes. But Kale back up to P5 already. Yeah, Bell's still doing well after that contact with Penfold. But, yeah, luckily we're not reviewing that because I don't want to. Oh, there's a car exiting stage right. Goodbye. I'm not sure what the idea of Bowen was there. Maybe got a little bit spooked with the braking speed of the car ahead and just sort of counter-steered out of it to try not to have contact. But definitely capitalising on the position. Lost 2 there. But
Yeah, well, it's a close little battle going on here. They're all technically battling for what is 5th position. And
Beg gets
oh, there
a
we go.
drive-through for a lap 1
Ooh.
incident. Not good. The stewards are definitely dishing out the big paddle and sticks tonight. So I know earlier in chat, I think Firelord said the Dan Murphy's truck rocked up to the stewards box. Can you send another one? Because I'm pretty sure they need it.
Yeah, that's right. Get them anything they need, because the stewards here have. I mean, there's 2 very difficult jobs here at OOR, and commentary is not one of them. What the chaps do in the broadcasting, the likes of Glenn, Malak, and of course, we do wish Neil all the speediest of recoveries. Currently not well, he's currently over in hospital, unfortunately. And oh dear, McLaws, good.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that is a little spinneroo there onto the outside. We were talking about how tricky that corner was. Through go the 2 Porsches there, one of our favourite liveries on the grid. But we talked about that corner before, 1 millimetre too far, and the car will be sideways. And once it's sideways, all you've got there is really
just hopes and dreams. Just
hopes and dreams. Oh, something happening in the background as well. Oh dear. So a few little issues happening here at the 15-minute mark, and yeah, not ideal. But as we were saying before, the broadcasting / the administration and the stewards. So those are the 2 really tough jobs here in OR. So we take our hats off to those chaps doing that, because well, those who can't admin, steward, and those who can't steward, commentate.
And those that can't race do everything, because yeah. What else am I going to do?
Exactly. Yeah. You're gonna get press ganged into everything now.
That's fine. I'm more than happy to help out, especially with our leader recovering, as we said earlier. I actually did hear from him the other day in a DM on Discord. He is feeling slightly better and on the road to recovery, so that was great news to hear from him. But the rest of us trying to hold this ship out of the sand dunes and all that, doing our best. I mean, Glenn's doing a fantastic job, obviously broadcasting, and then we just assist where we can. But yeah, some pretty interesting things are happening. Looking in chat as well, Diabolls, the track isn't exactly hot. This is just pretty standard things that happen here. Car 251 there, 15-second pen for lap 1 incident.
That is Bell.
Oh, is that Bell, is it?
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know what happened on lap 1. Oh, JC, wide line. It's going to have the inside for this next left-hander. That Porsche is definitely spicy on the launch. So actually, JC has yielded by the look of it. Oh dear, maybe he's no, he got a bit of a squirm, bit of a tag, but we're okay. We have another penalty there for car 64, which is Blair. That's another big slapping of the stick. God, the stewards are not happy tonight with penalty sizes, but could be wrong here. But has JC possibly got a 3rd cut and had to back off? And that's what's caused this to happen, or maybe he's going through a bit of a graining phase in the tyres, not having a good time.
Well, I could tell you, 17 minutes in, my tyres on the McLaren started to grain pretty nastily. They came back about 13 minutes later, and they were beautiful at about the halfway mark, and then they got really awful again in the last 15 minutes. So maybe he is in a bit of a graining phase, maybe just a little compromise on the exit. Didn't want to fight that, though, you're right. Nearly had the contact, well, had a little bit of contact, nearly turned into a bit of a disaster there for both of them. But luckily, these 2 chaps were able to keep control of their vehicles and keep it on track. But yeah, 2 track penalties, track warnings already. Yeah, I mean, if that was me in that mentality at this stage of the race, I'd be going, right, all I have to do now is keep it on track. Doesn't matter if I get overtaken or not. I've got to yield, essentially, because if I don't drive safely, I'm in a drive-through, and I'm going to be right down, potentially halfway down the grid.
Well, so that's one strategy, or you can do my strategy and just send it. Because you've still got 2 warnings to go, so it's fine. It's not like you're murdering someone yet. But yeah, JC trying to go around the outside. Oh, switch back into the right. No, Vetiga saw it coming. Is going to take the inside line on this double right-hander. Very late apex on this to maintain the speed, as JC gets probably the better line through the corner, in my opinion. But that Porsche acceleration is just absolutely insane. But as Diabolls has said as well, he's still... Oh, there we go. Another slide from the McLaren. Still only on 2 warnings and did run wide. But I dare say those tyres, as you said, might be a bit how you going. We do know they go through phases throughout the race, and obviously with the fuel burn and the race and all that happening, and if you are having a few moments, they will cause the tyres to not be very happy with you. So it could be going through a bit of a phase.
Yeah, it could be. And I mean, we've said it before. These guys at the top, we know how consistent they are. So if this was me suddenly sliding around the track, I'd be saying, oh, it's just me being a shitty driver and not being consistent enough, and having a bit of a brain fade lap, so to speak. But I don't think these guys really have that going on for them because they're so consistent, so good in the cars. So yeah, probably graining, I'd suspect. As you said, still got to get 2 more track warnings to actually get a drive through. So you technically do still have plenty of leeway in terms of that. So I don't see why JC wouldn't be pushing at this point. But you're right in that the Porsche there of Vediger, who's now pulled out nearly a second gap already. The slipstream will be in effect. I don't actually know how good the Porsche is in a straight line, but
It's pretty speedy these days.
yeah, I mean, are they running? Is he going to be running low wing as well? It's an MR car like the McLaren, so I'd say probably yes.
High chance, I would dare say, but I know one thing
Yeah.
that Porsche is very good at is this final corner.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the new one's any good compared to the old one, but the old one used to go through here at like 240 or something ridiculous like that. Whereas I think the fastest I've ever gone through there is like 225-ish, and even then I was waving brown flags everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, those that know how to get the Porsche around this track definitely know how to do it properly. But yeah, looking just down the list a bit, with Belle's little penalty looming over her head, that puts Bowen clearly in the amateur leading position and well ahead of where Lawrence is actually technically the next AM driver who's sitting P3 in class at the moment. But that's a way down the list, so that's a fairly comfortable P1 at the moment, providing that Bowen just keeps it clean for the rest of the race.
Really impressive drive, actually. Yeah, I mean, P7, like I said earlier, he's currently sitting in P33 in the standings for AP Blue, but he's only done 2 races out of, this is the 5th race in the season out of 10, just in case you folks did not know. And, oh, by the way, looking forward to next time out as well, but we've got a race to focus on at the moment, so we'll talk about Suzuka later on. But, so, Bowen, I don't think, in terms of the standings don't really show his potential at this stage, so Paul Bowen kind of showing us what he's made of at the moment, and P7 is nothing to scoff at all, especially for an AM class driver. So that red badge could be turning into a Pro-Am badge at the end of the season if he keeps up these performances and attends some more races. Very nice little battle going on here at the moment. On board with Michele, who's being followed by Apreciado, and we've got Scanlon in tow as well. And I think that that's Ben Thomas just out the front there in the McLaren, the 201 car. So it's going to be a little interesting battle. Got a couple of Porsches, a Ferrari, 2 McLaren. So bit of a Porsche and Ferrari sandwich between 2 slices of McLaren.
Yeah, look out for Scanlon here. He looked like he had a better exit, but actually now looks compromised. McLaw's going to go around on the inside. Oh, sorry, I've done the cars wrong. I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, I said Scanlon. Exit was good. I know cars and names. I can do things. Words are hard, but as he gets the job done before the fast right-hander here. Don't know how good the Ferrari is here because I never got a chance to lap, but McLaw's even wanted to have a bit of a crack on Apreciado there. Sorry, those two looked very similar with their liveries, so that was a bit interesting, and my brain just did not compute.
It's all good. I believe they are teammates as well.
Yeah, that could help.
Yeah, just a bit.
Could help.
But that was a beautiful move by Scanlon.
100%.
That's tricky. I don't know how you feel about that fast right-hander, but I was forced to go. It is a lot of fun, but going side by side through there, you're really just hoping that the person you're side by side with just brakes before you do. And you're like, right, nice and easy. I can go through the corner. No problems there. It's all taken care of. But I have been through there side by side with neither myself nor the person I was side by side with yielding, and I have never been so terrified in my life. Not even in the wet at Nürburgring at night time.
Yeah, it's it definitely takes 2 to tango with things like that, especially on that corner in particular. If you do not have faith in the driver you're side by side with, then it's going to end in tears for sure. But just going to chat again, William C, just going to let you know, mate, the GT point system is basically a standard point system that we have here at OOR first, second, thirds, and so on and so forth. Every position has its value. I think it's down to 28 or 30 from memory. I could be wrong on how far it does go down the list now, but it doesn't matter on your class. So if you are an amateur driver, like for example, Bell there in P6, you don't get P1 points for your class. You get what P6 points work, and that's how it works throughout the entire season. So the badges are just to sort of show who you're racing against in your field and who we think that you are the same skill level of in your split. And then obviously if you are performing well, then you'll be asked to step up a class or you'll get promoted. And obviously amateur goes to Pro-Am, and then Pro-Am to Silver, Silver to Pro. Which after probably my little stint off, I'll lose my Pro badge and my speed, but then I'll have to work my little bum off and get back into the Pro badge category.
Too right, yeah. Well, I hope you keep the badge, obviously. For me,
I'm going to sandbag and lose it and then win the class for a change.
There you go, man. Just sandbag it till you're in AM class and then win for a whole year out. You know, that's the strategy right there. By the way, I did just notice McKellar has had a big incident. I don't know quite what happened. We might be able to pull that up on a replay, but instead of fighting up for the top 10, is now back in P16. So it's really gone absolutely sideways there. And a big penalty.
Spidey.
Scanlon. Yeah, wow. So that might be who had contact with McKellar there. Quite potentially, since we've just done 12 laps, so that was lap 11. So yes, I think that is a bit of a slap on the wrist there for Scanlon. And yeah, now putting a lot of pressure though on Ben Thomas, the 201 McLaren. So a lovely little battle pack opening up here. It's really nice to be able to follow in the slipstream as well through the long straight. Lots of stuff happening, but this is also bringing Jay Lawrence into the fray as well, sitting just behind this group.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh dear, McLaws is gone.
Oh god, McLaws, what are you doing? No. Crispy. Save it.
Oh dear.
No, you can't save it. Oh, he kind of saved it, maybe. I don't know, did he hit the wall?
I don't think he did. Actually, I don't think... Unless he's bounced about 20 meters back into track, which I don't think he's done. I think he managed to keep it out of the wall, so well done there. But, yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
You do hate to see it. As I was saying previously before Crispy decides to ruin my tangent I was going to go on. But thank you for the spectacle. Same things were sort of happening last night. We're noticing like if a driver goes slightly wide or has that slight moment, that not only do you just lose like obviously a bit of track time and all that kind of stuff, but it's not one position you tend to lose because everyone's such like close nose to tail battles here. You generally lose out 1, 2, or possibly even 3 positives just because of how compromised you have to be through the flowing sections, like the double right-hander and then the left. You know, last night there was a few people that were getting double and triple overtakes because of that. It's just the nature of the track as well. You really have to be on point. You've got to hit your braking markers. You've got to hit your lines. Otherwise, you do get punished.
Yeah, and another thing that all the drivers have to be very aware of here is your awareness of where your opponents are going to be fast and slow. And that was something that I was trying to manipulate as much as possible last night, to the despair of a few on track. There's a little move from Apreciado on Ben Thomas. Ben Thomas has dropped a position here to Scanlon. That was over in the previous run through the Mistral Straight. But you have to be very aware. Like, if you know that the driver behind you is very, very good in the last part of the course, that's where you really need to focus on. So here's Scanlon on McKellar, and it's just a little touch at the rear, and McKellar's just gone. Oh, he's in the wall as well. So bye-bye front splitter. He's going to have to reverse it back on circuit. Yeah, that's very sensible. Didn't reverse onto track. Very good from McKellar there. Kept a cool head, rejoining the track. So hats off to him, and stayed nice and wide there for the car that was coming through. But
it's such a silly thing happened too. Like, I mean, you would think these cars would be a little bit better, but under load under that corner, because you do sort of bounce off the ripple. That would have unsettled the back end of that portion. Just that extra little assist. Yeah, it doesn't take much to loop these things around. As we all know, once they start to slide, you have about a quarter of a millisecond to try and catch it, as Spidey goes incredibly wide there. I think that was a bit of a mistake, but manages to pull it up and hits the apex of the next corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, these cars are very touchy, in especially those sort of real high load corners on your extreme tires and that.
Correct, and I mean it's also a lot of the cars here are going to be running very low wing, so if they were running maximum wing here, you might have just a few extra milliseconds just to catch that sort of thing. But yeah, when they've got no wing, they've got a wing, but running no rear wing downforce, so to speak. There's no opportunity. Your only indicator is going to be the mechanical grip, and with a little touch there, as you said, in high load corners, the tires and the suspension will very quickly bottom out, and the tires will say no thank you, and you'll be gone. And all it takes is just that little touch. So that's part of what I would call sort of the responsibility of following at this stage, because there's a great overtaking opportunity here, which is the 1.7 kilometer straight. So as long as you're keeping it close, not literally inside the rear bumper of the person in front of you, as long as you keep it close, you've got a big long straight to do all the work that you need to do on the slipstream. And speaking of slipstream, looks like Bowen here is going to be getting a little bit of attack here from Scanlon behind. So Scanlon's going to have a mega slipstream on the McLaren. So Ferrari versus McLaren here. Always nice to see. And Bowen's going to have to do some interesting defensive moves. So what's your strategy here? Is it try and move to the inside, cover the inside of the corner, or do you try and stay on the outside?
To be honest, if you want to be like real mean to them, you literally plant on the inside and let them go outside.
Yes.
But at the same token, it all depends on how compromised you are on the entry to the straight like that. I think that was probably the smartest call there for Bowen there, realizing that Spidey probably has got the pen as well and doesn't really need to fight for that position. Half hour left in the race, 15-second gap. That's not that hard to maintain. But yeah, if you are defending, you want to stay on that extreme right, or at least mid-track. That way, when they make a move, you can then, sort of force them one way or the other. But you definitely don't want to make the job easy for them. And even if they were to go on the inside, if you are sitting mid-track, you want to give them as little track on that inside as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's right. You want to move them over as much as possible, and because the sort of the doubt starts to creep in if you're sitting on the outside. You go, oh well, are they gonna oversteer to understeer to the outside of the track? Are they gonna think they're past, but they're not? So, I mean, based on that, I was very, very mean to people last night, because all I did was hold the inside line, force everyone to the outside, and just see how brave they are.
That is the strategy to go, but that's solid. It works, because obviously if you force them around the outside, they're going to have the higher speed, but they are going into that complex now, or in that corner, a lot faster than what they would normally, even though it might be a couple Ks. But then they've got to be aware that you're on the inside, so their line's going to be compromised, so they're probably going to overslow, which means if you're overslowed on the inside, you're probably still going to have it. You've got the inside line for the next double right-hander as well, so it's a solid play. But you definitely got to size up your opponent. It might take a lap or two to find out, as you said, where they're strong or where they're weak, as Spidey here.
And look at those wheels. Look at the wheels. Look at the purple wheels. There you go.
Disgusting.
You got a glimpse of it. And that was nearly very brave there from Bendik, but sees that the car did not back out of Scanlon, so decides to get out of it, and the Candy Lamborghini will give up the position to Scanlon. Scanlon is flying at the moment, and another on track that we just saw a few moments ago was Bell, who's also flying and just holding right onto the back of Kale, only about a second away. Of course, Bell still has that 15-second penalty for the contact with Penfold earlier on, but Scanlon right now is on an absolute charge. I think he's seen that 15-second penalty, gone, oh dear, right, well, no point saving any of the tyres. Let's go absolutely full send in this Ferrari and see how far up the grid I can get, because, with that 15 seconds as applied, well, it's going to drop them down quite substantially, unfortunately. And just for everyone, quickly running through our top 10 as it stands right now, Joshua Vediger is currently leading the race in P1, so the 999 Porsche looking very strong at the moment. 3 seconds to gap back to Comboy, who's sitting in P2 currently, and then we've got Chris Taylor in the number 17 car, the Ferrari, I think another 3.4 seconds behind. And then our first silver driver, leading the silver driver category at the moment, is Sisselwaite in the blue Mercedes there, looking very strong at the moment, having a nice quiet race, which is what you want. But he's got Kale behind him in P5, 4.3 seconds down the road, who's under pressure from Leela Bell. So she is actually a silver category driver there, but holding on to a 15-second penalty. P7 is Scanlon, who we've just been talking about. He's all the rage right now. And then in P8, it is Bendik in the Candy, I'm going to call it, Lamborghini, with those abhorrent wheels that we love oh so much, he said sarcastically.
Do we?
No, we really don't. I like those wheels about as much as I like Paul Ricard. Nonetheless, P9 goes to Bowen at the moment, the McLaren driver. So that is our current leader of the AM class, the number 18 car. And then, of course, rounding out the top 10, it is Apreciado in the Porsche.
And I appreciate the fact you did that. Oh, there's my dad joke thing.
Boo.
Nice. No. I thought I had to get a dad joke in there. I'm sorry. I was waiting for it. I saw the opportunity. I took it. Everyone's going to yell at me, but I don't care. Yeah, I don't think Kale should be too stressed out at the moment. Obviously, sitting P5 on track with both Bell and Scanlon with, well, actually more Bell than Scanlon. Scanlon's 10.5 seconds behind Bell here, but wouldn't really be fighting this position against Bell too much, knowing that there's that 15-second pen. But he's sort of finding himself a bit of no man's land, and obviously there's front damage on that Lamborghini.
Oh, there is. Yeah, that front splitter is not looking particularly happy, is it?
No, I dare say that was from when he looped it through that fast right hand. I know there's a name of it, and I did ask it last night, and I've already forgotten. But
let me do some research.
Yeah, we need the hamsters to start googling the track.
Let's see, it's Cygnus.
Cygnus, there you go.
I mean, knowing the corner names is one thing, pronouncing them is another. You know, like Spa. Like, I know every corner name at Spa, but can I pronounce them? Am I scared of pronouncing them? Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh, absolutely.
But, you know, Paul Ricard, no different. It's actually, I mean, this track's been around for ages. There's, I think, 7 different configurations, or probably more, that you could have.
No. There is like 157 configurations.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So I mean, we don't see 157th of it at all. Race Control saying in Cygnus and in health. That's right.
More jokes.
I like it. We like it very much. That's right. Always to the day we die.
Speaking of Cygnus, we've got our Glenn has just told us before as well that the poor lad has come down with the nasty COVID, so we hope a speedy recovery for the man, feeding all the hamsters in the wheelhouse and getting the job done. 247 configurations. My apologies. I thought I was correct at 157, but I'm still 90 off.
You know, there's a technical term for that. It's a load.
Yeah, an absolute load of track.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think this is the crazy thing. This is where it gets really annoying for me. This is the 1A V2 layout. That's what we have here for the Intercontinental GT World Challenge. But there is the regular layout. Then there's A2 V1. Then there's A2 V2, and then about 245 other configurations, which does my head in just a little bit. But I think it's most well known for the Formula One test track and the random sprinkler system that they have here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know how they come up with the names of like the track. Oh, what's a good name? Oh, yeah, Formula One V2 2.6, and you know, etc. I don't know. Maybe they throw dice or darts at a board.
I was about to say it's a lottery ball. They've written it all on ping pong balls, and they get a hamster to select one out of the slot. That's something like that. It's got to be something like that because they're highly uncreative, aren't they?
Yeah, or they're very creative because clearly I'm not that smart. I would just go and lay out 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
But I mean, that's my peanut brain in action. But sitting here, Bowen again, P9 currently, half second behind Ben Dye here. Actually, looks like it's in a decent tow, but that Lamborghini a bit speedy at the moment. Too far of a gap before getting the job done up into this Cygnus. There you go. I've got it right for a change.
Hey.
Probably still pronouncing it absolutely horribly wrong.
Oh, I can almost certainly say that we are, but neither of us know French, and I don't think we have any French viewers at the moment. Chime in if you are, because actually don't. I'm just gonna say we know what we're talking about.
Oh, that's a very interesting line there. Actually, that's Apreciado, is it not?
That is
No,
Bendik.
that's
So we're on.
Sorry.
Well,
I just saw the purple wheels and got confused, and maybe some PTSD along with it as well. But it's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you've probably passed him a few fair times, or been passed, and had to stare at that absolute eyesore. But no, I think we mentioned that it was a pre-shadow early on. Then I just realised that I got that wrong as well. So yeah. Oh, commentary. Oh, commentary. Oh, what fun. We are so good at
It's
this.
just words. Words are so hard, yet
Yeah.
so simple.
Exactly.
But these boys doing a pretty solid battle here. I think, what is it, half a second between Ben Dyke and Bowen, and then just a further second down to Apreciato. Just slightly off where he'd be gaining any benefit from a toe or anything, but Bowen here looking very racy. Probably wants to see if he can get a bit more of a, well, that's a lot of steering lock into there. But wants to get a good exit here. Looks like the Lambo probably got a nice little squat on power there. Take the inside curve very nicely there. That's probably the perfect amount as well, and I don't think that's going to matter how quick this McLaren is, because that Lambo absolutely nailed the entry in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I've also been known for not nailing apexes and stuff like that in my time, so that's up for debate whether I actually did hit that perfectly or not.
Fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, we can see there in the front window. I was about to say front mirror. Thank goodness the front windshield is not a mirror. That would be really fun.
That would be interesting.
It would be intriguing. Yes, it would be. So maybe the rear view mirror is actually it's a double reflective mirror, so you see forward.
No. Well, let's go hard mode. Your entire driver's windscreen is your rear vision mirror, and your rear vision mirror is actually your windscreen.
Oh, oh, it's hurting my brain. Just thinking about it is hurting my brain.
Do a 153 then.
yeah. So we're going to introduce a visual success ballast. So top 5 have to drive. Top first position drives blindfolded. The rest of them have to use the rear view mirror as their front windshield. So yeah, Comboy would have fun with that because he doesn't like using the rear view mirror, so he wouldn't be able to see forward at all, would he?
No, he'll just go on pure instinct alone. He'll become a full master Jedi, and it'll be fine. He'll just use force.
Yeah, it just goes faster, you know.
Yeah, I don't need to see where I'm going. I'm just going to drive. Speaking of people doing well, McKellar here, unfortunately got that little tag early on. Probably still running a heap of damage, as we can see here. That is that blue flag territory? Yes, I'd say so.
I think it is. Yeah, so McKellar is blue flagged, and that is Ashley Vediger. No, that's Joshua Vediger. That's our race leader going through at the moment.
Yeah, I was wondering why that seemed like it was very easy overtake there. What Diabols, stop. Just stop. We all know the man does things that just stop.
Yeah, we don't need to feel any worse about our skills in this game. But yes, so McKellar, I fortunately had a great start. Got all the way up there, was battling for P10, and has dropped back to where he qualified. So a little bit of a round trip there, sadly, for him today. But yeah, Vediger going through, nice and easy. Comboy will be the next to go past McKellar as well. He's only about 4 seconds behind Vediger at this point. And on board now, once again, with Bendik and Bowen. And yeah, I thought Bowen got past. No, I must be thinking of another point. But yeah, we got a little bit of pink dash there on Bowen's car, and a whole bucket load of pink there on the front of Bendik's Lamborghini. So yeah, put your thoughts in chat, everyone. Which is your favorite livery? Which one have you seen out on track that you really like? Which ones do you really hate? And probably about time for us to rate this track. But no, we'll leave that for later. Actually, 18 minutes to go in this race, and the field is pretty spread right now. This is probably the closest battle on track, other than maybe down in P15, P16. But nonetheless, this has been going on for a few laps here. So Bendik is doing a great job holding on in that Lamborghini, and the McLaren of Bowen just. Yeah, it's, as you said, a lot of steering lock going into the car, and that is not going to help your grip levels, and it's not something you really want to be relying on in the later part of this race, because you're not going to get necessarily the amount of power down that you really, really want to, and yeah, the more steering lock you've got, then the more you have to sort of steer back, so you're a little bit slower to get the power down, get the car in a straight line and go for it. You can see how wide to the left-hand side of the track Bowen was going there through that corner. I think it's called Hotel. No, I'm going to get that wrong. It's in fact Baum. So
almost his name, so it's fine.
Yeah. So actually, wow. I'm glad you clicked those dots together because I certainly did not.
I just take the opportunities when they fall into my lap, put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, when I just saw that the lock, and I've just been watching the lines here while we were just listening to your spiel then, but he does seem to be sliding a lot more. So I dare say those tires are absolutely screaming for temperature and all, probably even a bit high on the pressures as well. But may need to just sort of break that a little bit earlier, allow the car to rotate before getting on the power, because yeah, otherwise you are going to slide to almost getting a track cut like we just witnessed then. I'm not sure how many cuts he might be on none, because we tried to call that last night and we were sure that a few drivers were on many cuts, and it turns out they weren't. So I'm not going to try and say how many people are on, but yeah, you definitely got to sort of, when the tires are starting to, I guess, scream at you, you do have to nurse them just for a little bit, go a little bit lighter on them. Just try and breathe some air, some life, I should say, back into them. That way you can sort of push that last sort of 10 minutes. But at the moment, I think he's in that lovely phase we all like to be on, when we see that target ahead and it's blinders on, and we just go into full hunt mode.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like putting in your personal best lap when you're behind another car and you go, why didn't I just do this in qualifying? Why didn't I just get behind someone else's car and just follow? Because there is something about following other people's lines as well. And here we go, McLaws on Ben Thomas. So battle for 12th position at the moment. And, oh, Ben Thomas has got a bit sideways there. McLaws is going to have a nice line through there. And, oh, Ben Thomas is really struggling on the tyres, I think. Just exactly what you were mentioning just before. I think probably just overheated the tyres a bit. It's going to go onto technically the outside line for the next corner. But big slipstream here for McLaws. So McLaws will probably pull to the inside momentarily. McLaren versus McLaren. So the top speeds should be pretty comparable. But McLaws is going to get in there and absolutely send it. Who's going to be bravest, though, through Cygnus? Let's see.
I was going to say, it looks like McLaws is actually running more wing. That's because as soon as he put
Yeah.
out the slipstream, he was just slow, but had the extra line there, inside line, I should say. Definitely had more turn in. Does seem to be responding a lot better. I think Thomas's car, McLaren, is a bit sort of slidey and is a bit compromised under the extra stream loads and that. And basically, I think what happened was the entry was so compromised on the straight that McLaws actually had to sort of do that bit of back off and throttle and reapply. I was actually expecting him to get the overtake done a lot sooner than what he actually did there. But I think just because of the overslow, he had to sort of back out, otherwise he would have made rear contact. But job got done nonetheless, so smart driving for McLaws there. Nice position grab up into top P13. Not sure how far up the road Thomas is as we just go across the timing line now. And, sorry, Lawrence is 5.5 seconds up the road, so still got time. Got about, what's that, about 7 laps remaining at a rough math guess. I'm probably wrong, but
no, that's about right. And
can be done.
I'm not going to do math on stream. I've convinced myself not to do math on stream. I usually leave that to Sean Muller, and he's not great at it either, to be completely fair.
1 + 1 is 6.
That's correct. That's correct. But I can tell you guys that Lawrence is lapping. Last lap there was a 1:57.4, and for McLaws it was also a 57.4, but obviously had that overtake to do. In terms of their ultimate pace, 1:56s flat for McLaws and 1:56.5 for Lawrence. So if McLaws can have 13 minutes and 7 seconds of excellent laps, it's possible to close down that gap. But Lawrence has been pretty solid this race, actually, just hanging on to P11 nice and quietly. And I think, I'm just looking at the screens here, it won't be, I don't think Lawrence is going to benefit from those 15-second penalties ahead. Because there's just a little, I think it's about 18 seconds away, so Lawrence is not, as far as I can tell, gaining anything on Bowen at this stage, or sorry, Apreciado at this stage, because Apreciado is doing 56s on average now, and ahead of them Bowen doing 56.7s as well, so about half a second off the pace there of the two ahead.
Yeah, and as with all things racing, it's one thing to catch, it's another to overtake.
Oh yeah.
So definitely that might be where it's at, but I don't know, the red blood racer in me, when you're cruising, you're like, all right, job done, where's my next target? All right, X amount of time on the road, let's go.
Yeah.
And you sort of forget that, you know, you got fuel burn and you got really bad tires and that, because at the time you're like, yeah, I just overtook blah for the position blah, let's go.
Yeah.
And then
The adrenaline's running, the
the
dopamine's
adrenaline's
flowing,
high,
and yeah.
you feel good, and then if you're me, you bin it into a wall.
Well, hopefully not. On board with Vediger, and strong race, dominant race. Not really much else to say. Just doing really, really well here. Not holding on the fastest lap though, so just obviously just wants to consolidate what he's done, and that'll be a bunch of very nice points. And this is gonna switch up things in terms of the standings, because Vediger and Kale, they're only separated by about don't do math on stream. Here we go, 51 points. Oh, there's a diff column. Okay, I'll just look at that. 51 points the difference between the two. So with Kale down in 5th position, that could be maybe the start of Vediger's sort of fight back.
As I say, is Vediger behind at the moment or ahead?
Yes, Vediger is behind, currently P2 in the standings. Sorry.
Right, and where's Comboy? Because I know he's been doing well across the splits as well. So
yeah, so he's in
top 5.
He's P3 at the moment.
Oh, there we
go. Yeah, and he's only 4 points behind Vediger. So both Vediger and Comboy are going to be launched up the timing of the standings quite substantially. McKellar is in 4th place, top of silver, as a fair few points off, about 200 points off. So that won't be changing around. But the battle for the top 3, it's still all there. Kale having a couple of really good results in the last couple of rounds really launched him into a good position, P1. But yeah, it's all still to play for. I mean, we're only just at halfway through the season.
Yeah, long way to go. And as we know, with the competitiveness of the drivers and how close they are, this will go right to the wire, no doubt. But usual suspects at the pointy end of the field. But yeah, that gap will close up slightly. I'm not sure what the point difference is from 1st to 2nd and 5th, which is our top 3 in the championship at the moment. But I'm sure it'll make it just more and more spicy as the rounds click over. But just gone sub 10 minutes remaining in this race. But as I said, Vediger dominating performance at the moment. Once he actually managed to get the overtake done on JC there, has pretty much said, this is my pace, see if you can keep up, and JC hasn't been able to respond.
Yeah, whether it's just through familiarity of the track or setup, or whether it's maybe a tyre issue, I'm not sure. I mean, we did see Comboy getting pretty sideways earlier on when he was still in the lead of the race, so maybe that's just cost him a little bit of tyre life, and then because of that, he's just essentially had to, not necessarily to back off, but the car's just not necessarily going to respond in the same way. Once you've gone for a couple of drifts, I'm sure you've experienced this yourself. Yeah, you sort of go for a couple of drifts and you think, I've just warmed up the tyres, she'll be right. And then you realize that you've just burnt about 20% of the grip, or some percentage of the grip has just been burnt off the car. Not fun to deal with. And here's Chris Taylor in P3 at the moment, so that'll be a very good result for Taylor, who's 12th in the standings at the moment, pro category, of course. Hasn't attended, I think, one of the races earlier on in the season, so good to see him make a return. And yeah, Taylor's been having a nice quiet race out there. 6 seconds ahead, 6 seconds behind is the gap. And oh dear,
Kale, track limit DT. Oh no, because I was literally just waiting for you to finish up there. Because just looking in chat there, Diaballs is also saying that JC is on 3 limits, so that could also be adding to why he is a bit slower at the moment. Probably nursing the whole do not want to get a DT. As we see Kale, that will definitely plummet him down the list as well. Probably come out somewhere around P10 or 11 at a stab. Actually, could even be lower than that. As I said, transversal time's about 30 seconds, as he has a big slide there through the exit there and on the entry of the back straight. But he'll have to serve it before the remaining, because I think you get 3 laps to do it off the top of my head, and there's going to be more than 3 laps left in this. Otherwise, you're going to get a big DSQ, and I think if you don't serve but you finish the race at something like 30 seconds or possibly a minute 30, I could be wrong, if you fail to serve it. But that's definitely going to hurt Kale, and once again, that's probably actually might even change up the point system in the championship if the point gap is greater than that 50 points you were saying.
Yeah, so I mean, the gap between getting fastest lap and winning and coming 2nd place is about 23 points. So as it stood with Kale going in 5th, which would have been 95 points, it would have still been Kale just on top, or I think maybe just a switch for Vedager. Now it's going to be quite significant. If he's going to drop down to the bottom 10 or under, that's going to be probably another 30 points. That could be 80 points. It could be a 20-point lead for Vedager going into the next round because of this. And
spicy.
that is very spicy. So and Convoy will be right there as well because he's only got 4 points. So Kale is going to decide to pit immediately.
As expected, come in now,
yeah,
get it done.
Yeah, too right. And of course, just a drive through, so just have to drive through the pits and.
Please don't get a speeding hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he's not going to stop there because why would you?
It looked good, so I think he's safe.
Yeah, that's right.
That would be salt into the wounds for sure. I'm not sure why he's transversing down that part of the track, but that's fine.
There's more grip there, mate.
Oh yeah. Actually, speaking of that, the fact that they haven't had to change tires, it's funny as it sounds, backing off and getting a DT, not that you actually really want a DT anyway, is actually going to cool down those tires and actually give them a little bit of life.
Yeah.
So you might be enjoying the next lap or two, but that definitely won't be the silver lining Kale was looking for after getting...
Yeah, and amazingly, he's only... Well, hold on, I think he's a little bit further down. There we go. Okay.
P10, there we go.
There we go, P10. So that's about where we were expecting, about where you predicted. And yeah, so it will be quite the points shake-up here. He's got Appreciado not particularly far up the road. So there's still possibility here for Kate. As you said, if he's got nice, cool tyres and they've got a bit of life on them, Appreciado could be a nice little sitting duck there. But 3 seconds is the gap. So 3 seconds in 5 minutes. I mean, we've got fastest lap, of course, for Kale, so we know how fast he is. But whether or not there's enough time is going to be the question at this stage. And here's Appreciado.
Yeah, Diabol's just saying that it'd be interesting to see with those 15-second pens where it does sit. But I think at a quick math, Kale is roughly about 14 seconds behind Spidey at the moment. So might be able to pinch one posse there with Spidey, depending on the gap. But my math and 4-digit timing is probably not the best.
You know what? I get to tell you today that you've done some good math today because 7.2 seconds the gap from Bendik to Scanlon, and Bowen is about 4 seconds. That's about 11 seconds, and then there's only 3 seconds between Appreciado and Kale. So it's
math.
Bang on 14.5 seconds, mate.
Look out! I know numbers. Yay!
Yeah.
I did a thing. Mum, are you proud of me?
Yeah, too right. So yeah, that could get very spicy because yeah, if Kale's within range, that'll be any extra points for Kale at this point is going to help in the next few rounds. So there will absolutely be a switch of the leader in the standings this week. Vedager will go back into P1. Convoy was leading early on in the season, but will retain the P2. And then Kale will slip back, I think, at this stage to P3 in the standings, but not by a lot. There's going to be about 5 or 6 points separating those three by the end of this race.
You'll love to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta always like it when it gets a bit jostled up with the points and that, where you think someone's sort of scampering away, but then they're not. And, you know, unforeseen little circumstances happen, and, you know, sometimes they're good for us, sometimes they're bad for others. But the fact that it just makes the top of the tables just that extra bit tighter, it just makes the viewing it every week, watching them on track, just so much more entertaining.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, take Formula One for comparison this year. It's not really a contest unless you ignore who's in the current championship standings, in which case things are quite interesting. But yeah, maybe I won't open that can of worms today. Although, you know, pull Ricard, so testing track. Okay, no, I'm not going to open that can of worms. But Kale on a bit of a charge because he's coming up to the back already of Appreciado. So just showing the pace, I think those slightly cooler tyres are certainly helping Kale out at this point. And Appreciado is going to have a bit of work to do to defend. But as we said earlier, it's one thing to catch, it is another thing to overtake. But with the speed of the Lamborghini, it's almost certainly faster out of the corner onto the Mistral straight than the Porsche. Porsche might have a bit more top speed. It would be pretty close between those two cars, I'd suspect.
I think the Porsche actually might have it over Lambo, to be honest.
Ooh. Yeah, actually, that wouldn't be a surprise because Lambo's top end is not
actually that great.
It's just quick to get to the top speed.
It's great up until 6th gear. and then it's not so good.
It's got a nothing gear.
Yeah, then it's like a quarter gear. It's
Mm.
like 5 2/3.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's
Oh.
that was very lucky for Kale to actually hold that up before actually getting into the back end of Appreciato there. But this is position, and he'll want to get this job done fairly quickly too, because obviously, as we said, those pens of Spidey will be possibly playing on his mind. But I think that gap is extended out over the 15 seconds. A quick glance there, so he'll want to get this done and dusted, try and close the gap. But as you can see, the speed difference, even in 6th gear, it just doesn't seem to want to do much. And then it comes out and hits that brick wall of air. It is going to get the job done. I think, as I said, Appreciato is running a fair bit of damage, but it still only managed to just pull up alongside. You would have thought it would have got done a lot earlier than that, but Kale gets the job done. Appreciato makes it nice and easy, and up into P9.
Correct. And Kale's running in the 55s here, mid 55s, which is very close to the fastest lap. Fastest lap of the race at the moment is a 1:55.577. Of course, he's currently one of 3 drivers to have spent 30 seconds in the pit, and actually not the fastest pit, 30.5. So he lost 0.5 of a second on the entry. So as we were worrying earlier about the overspeed into the pit lane, actually didn't have a problem there at all. And Kale will now set off after Bowen, who's another 1.8-ish seconds up the road and dropping fast. But this will be the last lap of the race, and currently it is Vediger having a brilliant, quiet race out there at the top. Convoy, as we've been told, is high up there on the track warning, so just needs to bring it home at this point. 8 seconds down the road, and for the last time, Vediger will go through the Mistral back straight. And through Cygnus, I'm going to struggle to remember these names after about 2 days. But nonetheless, good drive from Vediger overall, I would say. Very smooth. And yeah, the early overtaking opportunities were taken. And a little bit lucky for him as well that Kale had such a big issue and then also a drive-through.
Yeah, I think a few things fell into place there for Vediger, but you can't say that the man didn't get the job done on the track. But only a few corners remaining for our race leader, but back on board with Kale at the moment. Looks like he's on the rear bumper of Bowen again. But just going to probably push away from this for a sec as Kale's just Vediger coming into the final corner for the final time. Solid race. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Doing a little bit of a victory weave and a flash. We love to see it. It's a solid win, taking out the overall win and class win for the pros. Back on board now with Kale. Didn't get the job done on the Mistral straight there. JC coming in for P2, running with the 3 warnings, so he's done well there to keep it on the track. Taylor takes out the last step of the podium, and that is your podium for Pro Class as well, so that's quite convenient. Thistleswaite here, Silver Class leader, P4, has done a mega job. Even I think at the start he was P6 or something, so that's not bad. Bell's done well to get P5 at the moment, but we know with that 15-second pen, possibly going to drop down a fair few positions there.
Correct. And the fun little battle going on here, and all very wide there for Bowen, and Kale will have him on the line. So there we go. Kale will take P8, and that will actually turn into a P7 finish. So good recovery drive there from Kale. Bowen will take P8, followed by Appreciato, and P9. P10 will go to Lawrence, and this is just based on the penalty there. Sorry, actually, Lawrence will get P11, P12 McLaws, P13 Ben Thomas in the McLaren, and then Lewis and Wood go across the line for P14 and 15 respectively, and then Sucre will come across the line for P16. So the class winner there for silver will be Thistleswaite. Very good drive from them. Little donut there from the blue AMG Mercedes as well, so stoked with that. Always good to have a nice quiet race out here. P17 to Ashley Vediger. Penfold comes in at P18. Unfortunate result for the Aston Martin driver there, getting in a little bit of action early on. P19 to Salvagio, and we got we'll go to the results in just a second, I'm sure. Bring those up for each of the tracks. But nonetheless, for our pro category, it is going to be Vediger taking the win, followed by Convoy, followed by Taylor, your top 3. For silver class, it will be Thistleswaite, followed by Bendique, followed by Appreciato. Good results for all of those. In Pro-Am class, it is Scanlon, and then Ben Thomas, followed by Lewis. And for Am class, It is Leela Bell, who's actually in silver class, so that's technically not an AM class win there. It's Bowen taking the win, Lawrence in second, and Penfold taking third place. So, yeah, what a really good race there, Sean.
Yeah, no, that was very enjoyable, even though I was not on the track. So I'm just going to say I won because I didn't get a penalty and I didn't caught up in any incidents.
You got the cleanest race.
At all. Yeah, I got the
you got the cleanest race.
So I win by default.
That's driver of the day material.
Yeah, I'll take it. Why the hell not? But no, Split Blue there doing a fantastic job, showing us what they're capable of and some very spectacular racing nonetheless. But I'm going to have to love you and leave you pretty quickly because I have to go and take control over Split Red, which is just a couple minutes away from starting their quali. But thank you very much for joining me in the comms box, and thank you, YouTube chat. I will see you guys soon. Stick around for Split Red.
Thank you very much, Sean. And yeah, we will.
Good evening, everybody. Damiano here with Connor Hyde. We are at the Simrigs Sprint Round Series 5. Round 5? Yes, for Simrigs. And we're at the wonderful circuit of Port Ricard with the massive long straight. Good evening, Connor.
Evening, Damiano. Evening, chat. Keen for a bit of split red, split blood action at Port Ricard?
Oh, absolutely. I've noticed there's been a lot of dry racing for this round. Bit warm, bit clear weather. I'm looking for a bit of blood on the ground to make the race even more tricky than what it needs to be.
Yeah, temps so far in the other servers have actually been quite toasty. Seems to be the same this round as well. So let's see what the drivers can do to adapt.
I see some cloud cover. Not sure if it's going to pick up or not. Current weather's optimum, 26 degrees ambient and 34 track, nice and warm. No wind, so it's going to be pretty consistent. We're in qualifying at the moment. The guys have just gone out. 2 minutes in, so the first flying laps will be started. So on that note, I will be. We'll just quickly go through the championship standings. As my page is loading up. So we have Jean-Pierre Sonicus, car number 44 in the McLaren, 550 points. Graham Hill, car number 14, also in the McLaren, and 381 points. A little bit of a gap there of 197 points. So JP is stretching it out there. P3 in the pro class is Mahoun Tawfiq, and the Ferrari, car number 711, on 361 points. Only 20 points behind Graham. It's a bit close there. Sliding down to the silver class, we have Leo Dreyer, 8th overall, car number 70, also in the McLaren, very strong car in this series, on 236 points. Then Imran Zouli, car number 12 in the BMW. Should be an interesting one for tonight. The BMW, I have heard, has a little bit of pace here, on 234 points, so another close one. And P3 in silver, we have Lucas Keys in the Aston Martin on 227 points. So silver class is very tightly bunched up. Going down to Pro-Am class, we have Harsh Kumar, car number 17 in the Ferrari, 187 points. He is 15th overall. Ash White, car number 928 in the Porsche, and 165 points. And Mahoun Zikri, car number 227 in the Bentley, on 146 points. And in the AM class, we have Gary Lau, car number 94 in the BMW, 64 points. Jared, and he is 28th overall. I think he's doing a very fine job for the AM driver. We have Jared Richardson, overall, P35. He's second in AM class, car number 22 in the Ferrari on 21 points. And Philip Mercer, car number 88 in the Ferrari on 6 points.
Some close battles there coming up into those podiums as well by the seams, looking at the points. So let's see if they can move and shake.
Absolutely. And so far, the movers and shakers are the Sonokai. Can I call them the Sonokai? The Sonicus brothers. So we have Jay Sonicus, they're currently on the podium, and Jay Sonicus also in P2. Their times are 1 minute 53.6 and only 0.1 behind. Very close for the brothers there.
Yeah, they'd be looking to duke it out too, I reckon, tonight.
I think it'd be a good circuit for it. Actually, we haven't seen too many Audis driving in their series. So isn't the Audi like a bit of a screamer down the straight?
Yeah, I haven't drove it too much. But from what I've heard, yeah, it's a little bit of a screamer, but it's quite finicky to set up and get the TC and the exit out of corners the way you like it.
Okay, understood. And also the Ferraris had really good, very slippery car. Not an overly powerful car, but did have some fast pace. As we see, 44 is JP. I've got to double check again. I always forget this guy, so I'm sorry.
Yes, it is JP. 555 is John. As you watch JP come down towards the second last corner, he's up a 10th, so let's see if he can hold it around the outside. He's got a nice double apex there. He's gained a lot of time. See what the exit's like. Yeah, look at the time going up. Yeah, he should be able to hold on here for a slight improvement.
Oh, that was a 53.5. Good lap there. And Shady Samuel also up a little bit on the time. enough to snaffle pole unless he gets an excellent drive out of the last corner, which I find very tricky. Oh, car going off there to give him room, bit offsetting. Has got excellent drive out the last corner, 0.5 up, slowly dipping. Is it enough to get into P1? It is not. A very fine margin of 0.035.
And look at Mags in P3 too. The top three is separated by under a tenth. You gotta love to see it.
Oh yes, these guys have always done very well. Very small time deltas from at least P1 to P3 every round. As we have Maddox also improving in the time. He's had a up and down season. Let's see how he goes tonight.
Well, he's in a good car for this track because knowing we raced our race last night, Damiano, and on being a Ferrari driver myself, yeah, the Ferrari doesn't have a good top end here, or anywhere really, but it's really slippery and it's aero, so you can get a lot of speed down the straights if you set the car up correctly and also in tow. So he should be in for a good one tonight if he can manage that.
Yeah, he's slotted in the P6 there, just over half a second behind pole. We have an invalid lap by JP, so that'll be a redo. And Shady Samuel in P2 slides that in very quickly. No, that was from before. Slightly up going into this awful corner. What was it? Buset, I believe it's pronounced. That's a tricky corner.
Possibly, for me personally, and probably for a lot of other people, one of the toughest corners on the track as well, like in the game. Like, it's really hard to nail it.
And that other corner, just after he can drive out of it, he can drop a bit of time, where he has unfortunately dropped 0.2 of seconds. Slowest car in front of him. Ooh, that was pretty tight. Drop some time there.
Oh.
Yep, so Shady Samuel's on for a pole lap there. Didn't manage to pull it off. Unfortunately, caught traffic at the wrong time. And with the OR rules for qualifying, if you're a blue dot, you are not on a valid lap and should give way to the car behind if they are in close enough proximity to you. And if you're a grey dot and the faster car's behind you, you do not give way. And the faster car needs to not overtake you.
Yeah, it might need to, relook at that one, because that was definitely a pole lap and he was almost in his diffuser coming out of the corner, so I don't know what's happened there, but we'll let the stewards decide that. Oh, he's just invalidated coming through Cygnus as well. He'll be kicking himself over that.
Yes, that was on the inside curb?
Yeah, on the inside. Just tried to cut a little bit too much.
Okay, just quickly at the top 10, we have JP, Samuel, Mags, John, Kyrudin, Maddox, Hill, and Tawfik in the top 8 so far. 5 and a bit minutes to go, so that's about 4 laps if you can squeeze them in, so still enough time for a second run.
Yeah, most of the time, if you've kind of maximised your tyres up to this point, so you've been on them for nearly 7-8 minutes, you come in, fuel up for a little bit more, get a fresh set of rubber on, and see if you can go out and improve a couple of tenths, I think.
Yeah, I was working with my qualifying performance, and I found 2 runs of 4 laps and just be done with it. Don't think too hard about it. Don't go a bit too long.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, one of the tricks to qualifying, I guess, is finding the balance between tyre life, having that ultimate apex grip, and also running really low fuel and getting the car a bit pointier but tame at the same time to be able to manage that one flying lap without really putting yourself under too much pressure.
Yeah, so sort of suggesting you slowly build up to it. Well, not so slowly, but work your way up to it.
Yeah, you want to put in that really good banker, like some of these guys, like what JP's done here tonight. He's put in a really good banker that solidified him into a really good spot, like early on, and then he can slowly chip away at the next couple of laps at looking to improve, so he's not putting that much pressure on himself.
Right, yes, definitely get the tension out, like you're saying. And just a point there, I saw a car exit into pit lane where Ricard was going for his fast lap. For the pit exit in qualifying, the car exiting pits needs to give way to any incoming traffic. During the race, car exiting pits have right away, especially if this tricky pit exit.
Yeah, it merges just straight onto the racing line, doesn't it? It's kind of very similar to Donington Park, where it merges straight into the corner, like it just spits you out straight there.
Oh, yeah, it's a nasty one. And especially when the racing line, the fast one, is actually, you got to go into the pit lane exit.
Yeah.
As we see, JP's up. It was 0.15 just before. See how we run through. We are watching JP. I think we're not watching JP. Who are we watching? We are watching JP.
Yeah, we're on board with JP here down the straight. He's probably not going to cop any toe down the straight. He's probably a bit out of range, but if he can crawl within a couple more tenths up to that car in front, maybe he might be able to use the toe on the next lap.
Well, his top end speed's looking pretty good. 282, 83, 84, 84.
232 apex speed through Cygnus too. That's hooking it up.
Oh, he's taking it really wide through there. That's a really tricky edge of the corner there because it drops away if you get once you go past the line.
Yeah, it's not a corner. There's not a lot of grip outside of the racing line on that corner. So either if you're on the outside, you're falling off the track because there's just nothing there to hold on to. But then if you're on the inside, you're overslowing and scrubbing off too much speed to try and make the corner itself. You got to find this delicate balancing act between throttle and brake application through the whole entire corner.
Yes, it's always a working balance. And as he crosses the line, should have enough time for 2 laps, but barely. So that previous lap was aborted. So here we go. So for the top 8, we have JP, Samuel, and Mags, all within a tenth of each other. Ali Karud, not that much further behind at 0.16. Then John is 0.24 behind. Then we have Keys, Mannix, and Bozic. Sorry, I couldn't read it a bit fine there. About half a second behind. So very, very fast top part of the grid.
With your top 5 too, like we're looking here, both the Sonic Eye, Shady, Mags, and Kai Rudin, all within 0.2 of each other. Like it's really anyone's game out of the top 5. Even Keys in 6th to really put in a quality pole lap as well to try and snake it from JP.
And speaking of which, we have Ali Karudin was up on his lap at 0.15, a bit bumpy through the corners there, going into the last 2 corners, which is Latour and Virage de Pont. Slightly up on the time, made a bit more, as you noticed before, as you were saying, the delta goes up going through the corner and slightly drops off. Not too much here, going to be 0.1 up, and it's P3. Well done.
Oh, 4 of them within the 10th now, like, this is going to be a close quali.
And we're coming to the last 30 seconds. So this is everyone's last lap. A few cars are invalid, so they're done. So John's 0.2 up here. That could he's also within reach of getting pole. 0.3 up. Oh, can we get a pole from John? Hopefully the car in front doesn't balk him too much. Last corner, going through the Virage Dupont in the last turn. A little bit slow there.
If he can nail the exit.
A little down. I think he's
All
got
right,
it.
He's just got enough. Oh, what a lap.
Oh.
What a
nice.
lap. Oh, Shady goes bang next straight away for 0.012 up.
And we've still got Keys to come through. You can upset the party. There we go. Oh, not bad. Is up on time. 0.2, 0.1 up. Oh, a little slide there. Pushing very hard. Oh, that's a good drive. Oh, invalid.
Just slightly fell off.
Oh, that was a big effort. You could see the car just squirming through the corner.
The Aston's actually a bit of a surprise packet here. at Paul Ricard, just due to a few of the long straights. It can actually be quite zippy in the straights due to its top end.
That's good lap was early there. Pushed up in P7. It was half a second up on his previous best, so good final lap there. Last driver coming through. Where we got? Marco in P13. Half a second away. 0.3 down. 2 corners to go. Could push him up a fair few places. Possibly a P11. Oh, well up here. 0.4.
Quite smooth on the steering inputs. Or can he get the exit that he needs? Oh, a bit dicey on the outside. It's still going to put him up. Yeah, it could put him up around that 10th spot, I reckon. Oh, 8th. Nice. Good lap.
Or
good
even
lap.
better, 8th. And that's the grid. Last lap on the last car across the lap makes 7 positions. 7? No, 6. 5. A number less than 10, but more than 3.
Quite a bulk of numbers for your final lap just as the quali session ends. He'd be smiling, I reckon.
Yes, it's very good there. So the top 4 were all within about 0.2 of each other, and the top 3 again were within about 0.1. So we have Shady Samuel, a little bit of surprise there, came near the end of the qualifying to take pole with John Sonicus in P2 on the front row, with JP, Ali Karudin, Mags, Keys, Saili, and Marco leading up the top 8. So we have 5 pros, and the next 3 are silver class drivers as we go through the parade of the pretty cars. There's some excellent liveries.
Yeah, I'm actually really liking that Monster Energy Aston livery. It's just something about the Monster Energy brand just looks really good on race cars, really.
Yeah, it's like a bright green chameleon camo. There's the anime livery. Matchbox car.
I like the Matchbox car. The Matchbox car is nice. I mean,
I like
Hot
the
Wheels
lines.
fan, but you know.
Well, I like the orange and black lines down the side. Very fine. Very well done. Good artwork there.
Someone's just slapped pink all on their car. I mean, like, power to them.
Can be done. Maybe a shout out to the Iron Dames in the World Endurance Championship. Oh, and my favourite Tic Tac car. I don't know what it is. I just like the Tic Tac car. It's the white dots.
It suits the Beamer too. It really suits the Beamer.
And then we have the Ferrari with the orange and red stripes, also looking good. Oh, this Porsche on the right here. Is that a new scheme for this week? I'm not sure. On the right, the green one. Oh, that's a bird.
That is an Atlanta Hawks NBA logo. That's what that is on that Porsche.
Oh, okay. That's well done.
It's a basketball team in America. So whoever's done that, nice.
Yes, and I know how front the Porsche is the artwork up. It's really good work. And the teeth car, can't go wrong. 22 seconds.
There's a Bentley in here too. Got to rep it.
Is. Yes. And a classic Porsche white. And another Ferrari. Was that snakeskin? Look good.
Yeah,
right. Tonight's race. We have a 1 hour race, no mandatory pit stops. I don't think there's any closed pit windows. If there are, there's 5 minutes before and after. Actually, no, there's no pit window, was there? At all?
Nah, there's no mandatory tonight. And the call is that you've really got to run the whole way. Because if you even... It's just too long of a lane to stop.
Yeah, it's almost akin to the Spa pit lane. So long.
The Spa pit lane's just next level, though, like compared to any other in the game.
I'm so glad they don't do drive-thrus there for us. I should be extra naughty. But we never know if as we go there. Anyhow, we're at Paul Ricard here. So weather's still looking good. We have the formation lap kicking off. There's a lot of other races had a lot of issues and contact in turn 1 and down at turn 5, which is on my printout here, Saint Bume. That is my worst French you'll ever hear.
Better than any French I could do.
All right. So, what do you suggest? So, no one's going to be going for a pit stop. I was considering it, but at my pace, I would have been blue flagged, and I would have lost way more time letting the traffic through. So, definitely no stopping tonight. How'd you find the track limits?
Well, I was quite lucky. I got away with a lot of just cutting that the game just didn't realise was me probably cutting the track. But yeah, the track limits are quite harsh here, so people got to be on there, like really watching and finding those limits, because any slight mistake and bam, you can rack up those warnings super easy.
And it's quite a lot of them, isn't there, where you can really go off?
Yeah, and it's not like other tracks you can really abuse the limits, whereas here it's like the line's it. The tarmac is it.
Yeah, Valencia turn 1, yeah.
Yeah, Valencia turn 1.
Okay, cars are setting up, double file, Noah's Ark style potentially. I'll hand it over to you for the first lap call. Enjoy Blood Red and calling all the yellows.
All right, as the cars are coming around towards the final turn, let's close up those gaps, guys. Come on, there we go. That's a bit better. As they come around, we have Shady on pole. We have John Sonicus in P2, JP in P3, Karuden in P4, and Mags in P5. They're coming down. It's still red, and it's green, and away they go. Shady's got a good start. So does JP and John. Ali's kind of settled there into 4th. JP has dive. Oh, a little touch maybe by the looks of it. The cars are filing through the chicane. We seem to be kind of... Oh, there's a little bit of doorbell. Oh, and we've had an off. We've had a little bit of slight death. And they're coming down.
Called it. That was J-Rad, unfortunately getting tapped there. As we go through the St. Vermont leading on to the main street.
Yeah, it just happens because like all the cars are so compressed and together as well. Like everyone's trying to fight for the slightest little bit of room. Everyone here will be looking to get the toe as well down the straight, being so close to each other as well. And there'll be a few battle packs form. As we've got height, hit. Oh, no, we're back up with JP, who's looking to attack his brother. I hope they're not in the same household. That would be an awfully tense couple of rooms as they fire through Cygnus down to this turn, possibly one of the worst turns in the game. JP's going a little bit wide. Oh, but he's tucked it back in. Nice. He's got a good exit there.
Yellow in the turns. Oh, it's a sideways car.
Yep, Bozic is not... You can't park there, mate. I wonder if he's lost it himself through scenes or not, if he's had a little bit of a helping hand.
I'm not even sure where he is.
He was on that inside bit of Cygnus just around the corner.
Yep. So many variations.
And JP is starting to get over the back here of John as well. I don't know if the tyres just haven't really fired up on the Audi yet or not. But Ali has also closed the gap here, and these 4 are kind of bridging the gap to Mags and 5th by the looks of it. Nearly out to a second gap.
Wow, so soon. Early days yet. A bit of a gap there. We have Bozic has another spin at the end of, and again his 3rd spin at the round in Bendor corner. Once your tyres get cooked. Oh, we have a move here by Ali Karuden on John Sonicus. Bails out here. Good call. No incidents here. Not a bad first lap. A couple of contacts, unfortunate, but nowhere near as bad as what we've had in the other rounds.
Yeah, it was a pretty relatively tame, lap 1. Obviously, they only had one off, which unfortunately came at the expense of Rad, but to only have one off after that going through a corner sequence like that is pretty good. As we watch Ali's closing in. He's going to... The toe kind of more kicks in around the middle to the back end of the straight, so we're going to see JP's gone defensive. Ali's pulled out. That Porsche is going to struggle a little bit pulling out of the slipstream, as you can see. He hasn't really gained as much as what he would have liked. And JP's pushed him one, defended really well.
Yeah, and I'd say Karuden did really good cutting him behind as well. It didn't give up any time to Max, but Max is very close. As to see the P1, 2, and 3 start stretching a gap already on lap 1, halfway through lap 2. So we got 1.6 seconds. So who are we looking at here?
Yep. It's as I thought. It's as I thought. Bozich just lost it. The rear end of the car just kind of got a bit squiggly on the exit of Cygnus.
Too cold tyres, you think?
It could be. It also could be like cars can be quite affected by aero wash through there. So if you're not on top of your inputs and also being all into the throttle to keep the car stable, it can become quite taily.
Okay. We have Keys had a little look at Mags on the last turn there. Got a little side-by-side action there. Mags has maintained the lead in that little battle. So from what I saw, we only got one car in the pits. And everyone else is still rolling and there's no major gap. So I call that a win for Split Blood.
Oh, yeah, 110%. I'd just like to give a shout-out to Mole. Hope you're doing well, mate. He is watching right now. I have that confirmation. So everyone needs to put on their absolute best racing, have 4 wide down through scenes. Like, just absolutely some hell for leather stuff for Mole. Love you, mate.
Yes. Get well soon, Mole. Miss you, mate. So hopefully Split Blood can live up to its reputation. Still plenty of time to go.
Watching Harsh Kumar now. He should start reeling in that Ferrari a little bit towards the end here. He's probably a bit too far away. He's definitely too far away to make any moves. But that Porsche behind him too, Bechtold is going to cop a bit of tow. Dreyer and Tafiq are going to go too wide through scenes. Nice lines by both of them. They're keeping it fairly tidy, fairly steady. So they fire down to this corner. Oh, Tafiq's got the move done. That's a good move. It's a good move. Harsh had a little bit of a look there, and they all filter in. See, that's the thing. This track can provide I don't like it to hot lap, but for racing, just the way it's laid out, it can provide endless amounts of entertaining racing.
There is room for 2 in a lot of places. It needs a bit of coordination. As Shady Samuels sends the fastest lap of the race at a 54.3, very fast. Oh, someone's backwards.
Yeah, what happened there? Did he just lose it on exit?
I don't know. The cars are very tight there. Might have got a little bit of a help. We won't know unless we see a pen come through or a replay. Not asking for one. And as I usually do with the AM drivers, we have G Lau, P20, lead AM driver, doing very well.
Yeah, it's a good opening couple of laps by Lau as well. To be up there, he's mixing it up with some quality drivers if you look around him too, like some Silver and Pro-Am drivers who are normally battling it out pretty fiercely in that mid-pack. So if he can look to he's in a good car around here in the BMW, it has a lot of top-line speed. If he can capitalise on that and make a few more spots, he's having a good race.
I think he might be in a bit of a train here. It's half a second behind, who's half a second behind, who's 1 second behind. So he's behind Jay Fleming in the Mercedes. No slouch of a driver in the silver class. I think Jacob had a car change for this round. Is that correct?
Yeah, so he ditched Team Ferrari, and I can never forgive him for that. No, it's okay. I do enjoy the Merc as well. I kind of flick between the 2 cars at the moment. I'm in the Ferrari. But yeah, just he wasn't, by the sounds of it, wasn't gelling with the Ferrari as well as what he'd hoped. So why not mix it up and put the engine in the correct place and make it sound really good?
Oh, it does have a good engine, though, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. We're looking at, it was, someone got a bit sideways there. Was it Johnson? It was Marco who got a bit sideways there. Holding off Johnson. Well challenged there. Now that is the battle pack.
Yeah, look, it's stretching down. It's like 8-9 cars long. But that's what you love to see as well. They're going to tow each other around. They're probably going to drop off the guys in front if whoever's leading this pack, by the looks Maddox, doesn't put the boot into it. But they'll form their own little battle pack that'll drag each other along by the looks.
Yeah. And speaking of dragging along, Shady Samuel having about a 1.8 second lead over John Sonicus and JP Sonicus 0.7 behind. And a little bit of a gap to Kyrune of 2 seconds. And Mags is 0.7 behind him. Then Keys, Zauli. Keys is close proximity with a gap to Zauli and Maddox. So the leader's a little bit stretched out, not too close. And then a bit of a gap starting to form already on lap 4.
It's like with every track, but especially here where draft and tow and trust and keeping speed through the corners is very profound. Shady's in the box seat of being out in front in fresh air. Other people are starting the battle, so as long as he can keep pumping in those good laps, he'll put himself in a good result in a good place for a good result at the end of it.
Yeah. Might keep an eye on Marco. He took a bit of bite of that corner, potentially a track limit. Oh, Johnson catches a good slide there.
Big snap there.
I think the record for a drive-through is 17 minutes. As Marco's really pushing very hard. These guys are really going for it.
I don't know if Marco has, by the looks of it, the car's just not wanting to, unless he's just had a couple of corners that he hasn't nailed or anything, but the car's looking a little bit pushy and understeery. I don't know if he's already cooked his tyres on a slide a little bit or something, so we'll have to pay attention to that over the coming laps.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I struggled with the new time model. You go for a bit of a slide and it took literally 2 laps to get it back under control again.
And depending on the slide too, like you can have a really bad slide where the tyres just never recover because you've cooked them that much.
Yeah, I've heard rumours of that. I thought it was just me.
No, it's not just you.
So the pack's actually pretty good. I think there's potentially one blue flag in this pack somewhere that's been lapped, or unfortunately may have left the race. Oh, Graham Hill, first penalty coming through. 10-second penalty collision on lap 3. Wasn't he the one facing backwards?
Yeah, at the end of the last turn. I'm assuming he just lost the rear on exit.
Yeah, so what I was saying before was the drivers are still relatively close. Oh no, our leader.
Oh no. Well, the only thing, as I was saying before, now it's even more profound. If he can just keep pumping in those laps and keep bringing that delta down and keep the pace that he's got up, and hope that both Peach and John and Ali all battle each other, he will be, hopefully, for his sake, he will bridge that gap at that 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yes, it's there's ample opportunity to do that. Still a lot of time left in the race, and now he knows what he needs to do. It's better to find out now than with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, better to get out of the way early. Like, he might have been, I don't know, he might have been a bit nervous and just jumped the gun or put the boot in and then didn't lift. Like, you don't know at the end of the day. Just like say, Mags has dropped a couple of spots. Keys and Zahali have got Mags, who's dropped down to P7. So I don't know if he had a little bit of an off there, if he just got overtaken.
Yeah. And Macaulay in P13. Yeah, jump start as well. Quite easy to do. I found it's especially when you're nearing the back of the pack to get the jump start, because you're trying to close the gap up and then the lights go green on you.
Yeah, and you're trying to get as close as possible to the car in front, and you're trying to manage your speed, because the starts in ACC, there's just so much going on, so much going through your mind too.
Oh, 100%. I actually thought I was really close to the car in front, and I watched the replay. Nope.
It can give you that warping effect, though, of where you think you are, but you're not.
Yeah, very true. You can see that in the mini map that the gaps are starting to stretch out for the top 6 cars.
Yeah, you've got Shady's 3 seconds in front. John and JP are keeping each other company. It's lovely of those brothers to do that, isn't it? Then you've got Ali down nearly 3 seconds back. Oh, Ali, Keys, and Zuhali are all pretty close within a second. Mags is thereabouts as well. And then you got another 3 seconds back to Maddox. So yeah, the gaps are slowly starting to form.
So the 10-second pen for Samuel, what is that going to put in? Let me just figure that out. So it's, I should have done this before. So we got 4 seconds, 9 seconds. That'll put him just in front of Keys at the moment, with Keys with the own penalty. So yeah, so Shady Samuel overall is P5.
I'm just watching that Delta with Shady over the couple laps.
Just watching Macaulay in car 623. He's slowed down the list. He's now 17th. A little off there somewhere.
Seems like it's happened. Well, where's he going? He's going into turn 1 now, so it seems like it's happened out of the final turn. I don't know whether he's just got loose on the exit or did a spin like Hill before. As he's getting overtaken by a couple of cars.
He's getting mugged. That's what's happening.
Yeah, when you lose your rhythm on this track, you're at a bit of mercy of just like, it's like a pack of like chihuahuas, really. It's just like a pack of dogs behind you, yapping at your heels.
And just to make a little point, we have Gary Lau leading this pack. Go car number 94. Might get swamped here at the end of the straight, but he's defending, doing the right thing.
I think that beam... the Ferrari is slippery in terms of toe and stuff, but that beam has got a massive top end. Like those big gaps on its front grille just snort up all the speed.
Oh, he's going. Oh, what a move.
And he's kept it.
More.
He's kept it as well.
No more. That's so good, which allows the white to get through.
Yeah, look, whoever needs to get it done, whoever does the class upgrades or the class promotions, give G Lau a Pro-Am badge right now. Just mid-race, just do it.
Yes, he's the red class outlier at the moment. Well deserved, especially with that move. I think that move alone demonstrates skill and ability.
It demonstrates, it looks like he's got a lot of confidence in the car right now, whether it's due to his setup or like he's confident at lapping Paul Ricard and racing at Paul Ricard, but he looks like he's got just a boatload of confidence in himself and the car.
100%. P17 overall. He was 20th not that long ago.
Yeah, he's made up a couple of spots, so if he can keep making his way up through the field, like even now, if he ended in 17th now, like it'd be a really good result, but if he could get a top 15 as an AM driver, like you're laughing, you're grinning at the end of the day, really.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I remember those days. Like I used to think if I get in the top 20, that's it, job done. Best race ever.
Oh yeah, 100%. As he's gone a little bit wide, I reckon he will hold the Porsche off down here of white.
Oh, I think so too.
Because the Porsche just has, the Porsche has not a great top end speed, even in the toe.
Yeah, especially if you put too much wing on, doesn't help. Good to the straight corners though. So we got 278, 280, 281. That's okay. I'd say White's got a low wing on the Porsche there. Couldn't say what number it is. Possibly a 4. Bit skittish behind Lau.
What's the Porsche like, Damiana, in terms of dropping and upping the rear wing in terms of the rest of the track that isn't straight? Like, do you lose a lot through sector 1 and 3?
I was gaining about half a second in sector 3 after the what's the corner name? Buset, turn 9, the double right hand where your tires get destroyed. After that, I was making it half a second. So my intent was to get a bit of a breakaway, and so when the cars caught me up on the Mistral straight, I'd have just enough gap in front. It did work mostly. My top speed was 276 in race trim, so not very high. But it was I was more looking for drivability and survivability. Yeah,
it makes sense. Because I'm wondering if White there has his rear wing a little bit lower just to compensate for that straight, really. It
I think so.
might make it a little bit more dicey through sector 1 and 3, but like if he's used to it and he's grown accustomed to it, he should have no. Ooh, a bit wide there.
Yeah, I think Lau had a little slide there and he went around.
Yeah, Lau's just getting a little bit skatey. If he can hold his nerve, he'll be fine.
This is all excellent racing experience for him, and he's leading the pack too, so he's going to do it for the rest of the night. So we got 282, I think, before from the Porsche driver. As we slide over to King Lau, what are we getting here on his speed? I can't see. 280, the big number in the middle. 281, 282 without a draft. That's crazy speed. Might be under trouble here as White goes have a look. Oh, pushed G Lau wide. Oh, excellent camera view.
Too wide.
Look at that. Look at the steering work by Wyatt. That was great work. Excellent camera view.
Excellent racing by both White and Lau too, to give each other the confidence and the space to go too wide through a challenging corner like that, and to not even like touch bumpers or fenders or anything.
Especially for the outside car, not going too wide, because once you get that left-hand wheel on the white line, the circuit drops away, and you just lose all your grip.
Honestly, thought Lau was going to lose it a little bit there, because when he was on the entry to the corner, it looked like he went a little bit wide, and he got to that point of dropping off. But it was good of him to hold it around the outside and still challenge.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see if Lau can actually get past the Porsche down in Bristol Straight. Hoping he stays close enough. We'll see if the Porsche setup will get through the twisty bits faster or not. The biggest problem I had on this whole circuit is the second right-hand turn coming here. Not this one. I'm not that great here, but this next one. Oh, I'm awful through this corner.
I would just like to say, look at on the track map, we have a JP Sonicus in the lead. I would like to know when that happened.
Ooh. So that where would I shake?
Very, very interesting. Shady's dropped to P3, P4. Was that did Shady have an off? He had to have had an off to get back there. What is he? So it's John's P3. In P2, Ali's in P3, because John's in P2, Ali's in P3 in the Porsche. He's P4. So ACC timing board doing great, not updating.
Okay. Sectors. Yep, sectors.
But yeah, I want to know what happened there. And looks like JP's streaking away. It's just unleashed the shackles on JP to go great guns.
That is a big gap, because John wasn't that far behind as well. Wonder where he would lose. What's that? 6 seconds overall? 5 seconds.
So he's lost. Yeah, he's probably lost 4 or 5 seconds. So I'm assuming he's lit up the rears somewhere, where he's had a moment at like scenes or something. I
reckon turn 9, yes, that double right-hand turn, it went off circuit a little bit and just dragged you right out. And it probably would take you that long to get back into the circuit.
Could be something like that as well.
Good speculation. Fortunately, another pen for J-Rad. 15 seconds. Oh, a few more coming through. Oh, stewards of clicking the button. John Dreyer, car number 70. Collision on lap 7. 15 seconds for him. A few invoices flying around now. Dreyer's in P14 at the moment, so drop him down a little bit, because we know there's a big battle pack behind G Lau.
Yeah, you've got Lau, Doe, Macaulay, Rochford, Hill, all within, by the looks of 1.5 seconds. So they'd be all nipping at each other's heels.
Yeah, and we got Wyatt in the Porsche. Made an extra spot from Fleming, so maybe a mistake by Fleming. No, I think Wyatt has good pace, stretching the gap from Lau, which is 3 seconds in front of Lau. So good driving by Wyatt. He's got the Porsche set up correctly. I'll message him after the race for Friday nights.
The tips.
Which is Yes, and this is an excellent segue into Friday night. Oh, replay. We'll do the replay. Who have we got? This is Shady. What's happened here?
Yeah, he's just had a mistake. He's just looped it. The arrow in the rear of the car looks like it's stalled by the looks of it. Yep, and that's allowed. Oh, okay. Okay,
Tough
that.
rejoin.
Yeah. And then he's obviously has lit up the tyres as well, so they'll be incredibly skady for a bit. So yeah, JP's got him, has to have got him down the straight here in the toe. But how did he lose out to John and Ali as well?
We'll find out. We have the Wayback Machine. It's defending, gone wide as expected, and
he's definitely used up a speed token there.
I think you're right there, Connor. Ooh, defended well.
Yeah, those tyres look like as if they're having a moment. Like he's got no grip, you can tell, and he's just trying to wrangle the thing around corners.
Kai Rudin getting past. Yeah. Okay, so he went off in turn 3, which is down the bottom of the circuit. That corner name is L'Ecole, allegedly.
Allegedly, we do not stand for the pronunciations of these names.
Yes. I'm avoiding looking at chat. I know I'm going to get corrected. As another penalty comes through. I didn't read who that one was for. Get a few pens coming through, a couple of big ones as well.
Yeah, the stewards have been put into work a little bit tonight, which is good to see, and obviously that means that they're
too busy to drink. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that the delivery they had earlier has definitely not been touched or drank at all.
It's going to be a good after party. So we have JP Sonicus in car number 44 having a 4.5 second lead over John Sonicus in the Audi, and Kai Rudin and Shady Samuel in close proximity within 1 second behind. Shady with a penalty and Keys 1 second behind with another penalty. So Mags we got here as overall P4. We got Torfig very close behind Maddox. I think Maddox has had a good. So far, had a relatively stable race. That's about where he qualified. Under attack here from Torfig. Well, look close. Takes a dive out. River limiter is hitting the bars. Car on the inside, clips the corner, looking for a car. Did he make it? Car's gone wide. That was Maddox. And one of the Ferraris, which I can't tell who was who. I didn't memorize his colour schemes.
I think so it's Maddox Tafik. Yeah, that's Tafik behind him. That's Tafik's colour scheme. I know that from the GD3 Cup.
Excellent. So Maddox maintains the position. Little interesting battle pack just going through Cygnus now at the back of the field. We have about 3 or 4 cars there from probably some silver or program drivers. That'll be interesting. As we fall through it. As I say that, it was interesting as we've got a yellow flag in the corner there. Sorry, guys. I think that one's on me.
Yeah, 55. Whoever 55 is has had a moment, but they're back going in. Oh, Bozic again. Has he lost it in the same spot again?
I think so. That's exactly what he did last time. Very, very twitchy.
Hopefully he can just relax a little, find the rhythm again, and just try and bring the car home. Yeah,
it's hard to keep that mentality going, but yeah, you'll get far more experience bringing it home. You know, at the worst case scenario, you do some blue flag practice. So if we have Shady Samuel getting behind, no, we're watching Ali Karun behind Sonicus.
Yeah, so John is towing Ali and Shady along a little bit, and Shady's going for it around the outside, 3 wide. Oh, Nah, Shady's backed out of it a little bit, which is probably the right thing to do. Like, it never ends well going 3 wide around there.
I would like to see that just for Mull. You guys are doing it for Mull. I appreciate it. I think everyone appreciates it. I'm liking what I'm seeing, which is another segue. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the racing.
Yeah, it should all be for Mull. Hey, like, they should be going 3 wide at every single turn for Mull. Just all at different points and various points of the track.
I reckon 3 wide through turn 1 and take it all the way down to the bottom of the circuit.
Anyone who breaks the 3 wide, anyone that breaks the 3 wide, nah, that's it. You've off the Christmas card list.
Yeah, that's a stop-go 30 right there. Ali Caribbean very close behind. He's going to have a little look into turn 1. No. Has a little bit of a feint, making sure that John knows he's there. These 3 drivers very close together. With Shady at the back on with a pen, do you think you'd be inclined to... Oh, I know they're close. Oh, actually, Ali Caribbean's having another little nibble look. Not committing. I would say... Kai Ruden's actually running a little bit more wing, because when he was behind John, he was only maxing out about 279, 280. Whereas when we were looking at the other Porsche driver, Wyatt, he was hitting 281.
He does look pretty hooked up through sector 1 and 3 as well, Ali does. So, yeah, I'm going to guess he's running a bit more downforce on the car and kind of sacrificing a little bit in the straight. He's actually in a good spot at the moment because, like, yeah, even though he's not going to get the draft that he wants.
3 wide. It's 3 wide.
Here we go. Nah, I think, John's lost it. John's tucked back in. Good move. Can Shady's hold it? Can he hold it? He's gone wide. That's another speed token. Can Ali hold it on the inside? Yep. Good move by Ali. Good racing by all. Good racing.
That's actually not necessarily a speed token. I think I went that wide probably about 3 or 4 times last night, and I didn't get any drive-throughs. Not drive-throughs. I did at the end. That's for a different reason, but not for track limits. I didn't get any. I had 0 track limit warnings last night. All you got to do when you go wide there, just really ease off the accelerator.
But it looked like he didn't ease off the accelerator at all. That's why I'm saying there's probably a speed token there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Whatever he's got left.
See, in the middle of the battle pack like this with these 3, so Keys is catching them too. So it's going to be a battle pack of 4. But, like, your people in the middle of the battle pack are at probably the biggest advantage due to... So, like, you're going to cop all the tow and all the draft from the car in front. So you're pretty much being pulled along by however fast the car is going in front. So if you can get them down the straight, then you're being shot off like a slingshot, really, to try and maximize that. Whereas if you're in Ali's position, he's got to really defend like a madman to kind of keep that spot. But that's what makes the good racing, though, really, where it's chopping and changing all the time around here.
Absolutely, with John actually dropping 2 spots in that one corner. You've got to fight your way back. We'll see how the corner exit from Kai Ruden works. Whether Shady Simrigs can get in again. 0.5 a second, and then John a further 0.6 back. Close enough to get a slipstream, do you think? To make an effective attacking slipstream?
The slipstream starts kicking in at around half a second, so, like, Shady hasn't really got a lot of slipstream that lap, but if he can get a better exit going onto the straight and be 0.3 behind, then that's when you'll see the attacking form of the slipstream start to kick in.
I've already dropped John by 1 second already. Let's just see if it's just a little bit of aero wash and see if John can keep with these guys or not.
I'm wondering with John too if it's a little bit of... Because like John and JP, incredibly talented drivers. I'm wondering if with John it's a bit of Audi things and the Audi not enjoying its tyres, because I've heard that it's not great on its tyre preservation. I don't know, I can't confirm, but it might be a reason as to why he's just dropped a little bit, because it's going through that weird mid race phase.
Yeah, definitely something to watch. You drive into the tyres, especially when it's a bit warmer. Just saw the lap time now from Shady Samuel. Not his fastest lap. He's a half a second off, and he did a 54.8 for his race pace. Whoa, that's a cracking fast time.
Yeah, you'll find these guys up towards the top. So like JP, John, Shady, Ali. I haven't raced against Keys much, but I'm going to assume that he's probably doing the same pace roughly. Mags and all those kind of guys. Those top 6 guys would be lapping in the 54 somewhere, maybe a low 55 if it's like a kind of a bad lap. So yeah, when you string it all together, the time is there.
Yes, and speaking of time, our unfortunate AND driver, well, our fortunate AND driver earlier, it's now our unfortunate AND driver, G. Lau, has slipped down to P23, just dropped his position now to Backtold. As we have Samuel having a look at Kai Rudin. Very close, staying online. Ooh, don't hit those markers.
Yeah, he's slowly just getting Kai Rudin, so if he can keep the exits up, I reckon the next lap or two he could look at an attack down the back straight.
And John's dropped another 0.3 on this lap at the same part of the circuit. Whereas JP stretching his lead out to 5 seconds now. So another little shout out is to Chalmers in P11, our leading Pro-Am driver, car number 78 in the BMW, 3 seconds behind P10. Go well. Even a potential P10 with Keys taking his 15-second penalty, that'll put him very close in there.
Yeah, it'll nearly put him towards the P9, P10 range. But yeah, it's good to see your AM and your Pro-Am guys battling with the likes of your pros and your silvers and being more towards like the pointy end of that kind of racing, because like it shows their improvement, shows their growth at the end of the day as well.
Yes, I actually found that because I've started sim racing probably about was it a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I'm improving, and I'm seeing all the people around me improving. I'm seeing the guys that are faster than me improving, so everyone's improving. And what I'm finding is that the grids are getting tighter and tighter, and everyone's still roughly in the same position, but instead of having like a 5-second split in the grid, it's like 3 seconds now.
Yeah, the deltas between everyone in the group is a lot closer now.
Hang on, sorry. Shady's having a look on Kai Rudin. It's gone on the inside and made a clean pass.
Yeah,
stays
good move.
On the inside.
Good move.
Oh, Kai Rudin's attacking back.
He's having a dip. Oh, yeah, nah, good. And see, like for Ali now, just tuck back in and do what you did before, work away. For the position. It is allowing John to stay on the back of these guys, which is good.
So what we can say is, of these three, unfortunately, with Shady having his penalty, this is our P2 and P3 overall. And then if they do drop back a little bit, unfortunately, Keys has a penalty as well, so they'll drop him back as well. So these two of Kai Rudin and John Sonicus guaranteed podium if they maintain roughly this position. So interesting racing with Shady there. He needs to stretch out 23 minutes to go. Wow, 23 minutes to go. That's this race has gone very fast.
Yeah, lots of action on track. It makes the time fly by.
And just a weather update. Clouds are coming in. The temperature's starting to drop, and the wind's picked up. I'm sensing rain. But with the forecast at 30 minutes being cloudy, it's going to be dry to the end of the race. So with that, these guys just looked at Kai Rudin. He's all over the back of Samuel. It's going to be a very interesting race down the back straight. Would you say the McLaren's got a good straight line speed?
So speaking to the connoisseur of the McLaren, which is Megan D. Good day, Meg, if you're watching or in chat. Yeah, the McLaren's got a decent top end. Like, it's not as slippery around here in the top end as the Ferraris, say. But like watching like Meg's setup was doing like nearly 280 or something, and like I was watching Pip earlier today in the practice session of the Sprints channel, and she was doing 284. So it's there or thereabouts. Like, it's not the best, but certainly not the worst. It's not like like the Porsche, it seems, that's got the really low top end here.
Yeah, I was just seeing Kai Rudin, 285, right under the wing of Samuel, just before the end of Cygnus. And we had a yellow flag, car 70-something, 89? Is that Drea?
7.
Potentially. Anyhow, there was a yellow flag at just after Cygnus leading to Buset. You can see the guys bunching up a little bit, so maybe someone's gone off and come back on. I'm hoping it's a good rejoin and just a little bit slow getting up to speed. But even now, you can see the pack, the field spread it's not super large. Like with some of the other circuits we go to, the leader will lap up to, say, P14. Whereas at this circuit, that was very close of, was that Marco? Getting onto the back of Drea there, leading into turn 1. The field spread. Still only roughly, I call that about half a lap at this stage of the race.
Yeah, JP's starting to attack onto the back of those couple of cars that are coming through Sector 3 now. So he'll probably get a couple of them by the end of the race, but it's one of the tracks where, like, because a lot of people, you're going for most of the lap, you're going high speeds, so not as much time is lost.
Yeah, I guess I think for me the largest time of loss I'd ever get is down at the bottom of the circuit in turns 5 and 6. We have another 3-way going into Cygnus. Bit of defending, bit of attacking. Any changes of position here? No. So that's Chalmers, Kuma, and Drea. Oh, that was Kuma on the back of Chalmers. Got very close. That's right. Chalmers in the Tic Tac car. Go to Tic Tac car.
Yeah, it looked like Kumar there kind of had a little bit of a panic moment and kind of tried to slam the brakes to avoid it, which he did, to his credit.
Yeah, the driving so close, it's very hard. And the time delta as you get closer, you've got to break that tiny bit earlier. It can catch you out even when you're ready for it. Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive when I say when you're ready for it, but the closing speeds when you're under braking can happen so fast.
Oh, yeah, and especially in the heat of the moment, like you're watching some of these guys being nose to tail as well. Like you only have slight fractions of a time to react and to even think about it.
Yeah, and sometimes you're even like planning your move from like 2 corners before, you're looking ahead to go, okay, I know I'm a bit faster here. The other driver is just a tiny bit slower, or I might get a better run out of the corner like Drea has here. And then all of a sudden, the car in front has brakes. They have a little tiny moment themselves, and catches you out. But good work by No Contact. So Drea's got a good move on Kuma leading the exit of the corner. I don't think there's going to be a chance to defend. I think Drea is just going to drive past. He's got DRS.
Kumar should realistically tuck back in and try and cop a second end of the toe, really, even just to maximise that straight line speed. But Drea's covered him off well and made the move done.
Very clean. I saw Kuma went around to got a bit of a slipstream and started catching up, pulled out and hit that air brick wall again.
It seems as well, if you look up the leaderboard, it seems as if Shady has started to gap Ali. He's up to 2.1 seconds, so he's starting to pull away. I don't know if at the current pace, 17 minutes is enough to pull 10 seconds on Ali. Ali's an incredibly talented driver himself. But you never know. Hopefully Ali can hold in there and maintain the position, as I hope John can as well. But all that battling did was allow JP to grab a 3-4 second gap and run with it, really, and take control of the race.
Shady can keep the pace going. It's looking at a P6 finish. A bit of contact at the top of the circuit between turns 8 and 9. Got 2 yellow cars there. J-Rad.
Rad's had a rough race, unfortunately. And Brad Palmer. Oh, no, it's the Atlanta Hawks car. Oh, no.
And Lee Marvel in the pits.
It can't be that car. That team's cool. See, look at it. Look at the logo.
The wing. I know, the wings. It's like a bird coming to get you.
Very sad.
That's a good livery from the front.
Yeah, it looks really tough, doesn't it?
It is. I'm scared. I wouldn't want to see that behind me. So
as we're on board with Tafiq, he's chasing down Zahali. He's under a second, so let's see how that gap maintains. He's actually passed Maddox as well, and has gapped Maddox by nearly 4 seconds. So wonder if Maddox has had a little bit of a moment, or if Tafiq's just passed him purely on race pace.
Well, there's a bit of stage of the race. Like if you're managing your tyres from like the start of the race, would you say it would be like this stage of the race? If you've done a good job, you can see the delta, or be further deeper into the race with 15 minutes to go?
So for the Ferrari goes through like, I guess like most cars really, but the Ferrari goes through a 10-12 minute mid-race phase, which by looking at the time now, he should be out of. And the tyres kind of come alive a bit more, and you can kind of start pushing again to see the delta pop up and be green a little bit for most of the lap. But I'd imagine, I don't know, we didn't see the incident, but he's pulling away from Maddox, so I'm guessing something happened to Maddox and he's just capitalised on it, because he was battling Maddox pretty hard there.
Oh, yes. And we got Johnson behind Maddox as well within a second. I think that gap has closed a little bit. So we see Tawfiq right on top of Zahuli going down the main straight, the big, long, what would they say, 1.7 kilometres of straightaway.
Yeah, you can put a rock on your pedal or something, go make a cup of tea while you're going down here, I reckon, and you'd still come back and you're still on E.
I think he's got the move done. It looks like he's got the good overlap. Yeah, straight through. Good pass, Tawfiq.
It's really odd with like the Ferrari, so you get to like 5th gear and you don't feel like you're reeling them in at all, and then as soon as you hit 6th, you like shift up into warp drive and you just start reeling them in. It's actually a really like a different level of tails between that shift alone that it requires that slippery arrow.
Yeah, just say it's like, by saying that, because you're going up in speed, that the fast is, maybe it's the way the car's compressing or something. I'm really speculating here, but the faster you go, the more aero efficient you get. I understand that drag increases with speed, but does it get more efficient? I guess that's a question for the more technical among us.
Yeah, I just shift the gears and I notice I'm catching up. So,
there's more yellow at the top of the circuit. I think there are 2 cars involved there. There's 2 bits of yellow. I think that just went a little bit wide at the Busek corner. I'm not sure who it would have been, but yeah, I think the tyres are starting to fade for a few people. As getting a few yellows laps in a row. Oh, look at P1. Shady Samuel. Within a second, he's going for line on us.
it'd be interesting to jump on board with Page too. So what Shady's last lap was a 54.7. It'd be interesting to see what Page's last laps have been, because with that, Page must be in the 55s, which is, Shady's really putting in work here, but like to gain a 10-second gap in 12 minutes is going to be crazy if he passes him.
Now, his only mistake was probably, I'd say, a tiny bit fast on the start. Really done nothing wrong. Like didn't hit anybody or anything like that. So, proving a point that he can cross the line first. I'm up for that. I think that's good mentality. And he's done it good and cleanly and not really been really ragged. The driving's been very smooth. Right on top of JP, we're leading down at the exit of corner Virage de Pont leading into the Verrières, which is the chicane. Another 54.7. Has a bit of a look on Sonicus, just to let him know he's close.
Yeah, he'll be filling those mirrors, and like that's another form and like another good way, as most people would know as well, to like kind of spook your opponent and spook the person in front of you, fill their mirrors, make them conscious about looking behind you as opposed to worrying about their full blaze motion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a bit of a slide. Oh, J-Rad. Unfortunately, stopped go 30 for a bad rejoin. That was 3 laps ago.
Yeah, he's had a rough go tonight, J-Rad, so hopefully he can just bring the car home and look forward to next week. As we watch Shady breathing down at JP's neck, I reckon he's got enough slipstream here to get the move done. I don't think JP's going to fight too hard, because at the end of the day, he's got that 10-second penalty. He can just try and stay on his diffuser and keep with him.
Yeah, they got a 4-second gap back to Kai Rudin, so doesn't have to be too close. Just a nice manageable 1 second, which is probably feels like half a lap for these guys. But yes, Shady Samuel going for line honours after having a slight off and a penalty for drive-through for Saili just popped in. That would be for track limits, as we've got no notification from race control.
Yeah,
first one of the race.
I know, it's lasted nearly 50 minutes and it's the first DT of the race, which is good. That's probably one of the higher ones we've had this week. But yeah, unfortunate. He's probably just trying to bend those track limits a little too much. But
too easy to do.
Oh yeah, especially when pushing like around here. It's just like even that, watching Shady go through there, like you're almost at the limit of the track, of the limits themselves, and it's the racing line. Like,
as early takes the penalty early. I heard it was about a 28-second delta end to end, with so plus some more for speed up and slow down, or slow down and speed up, depending how you enter the pits.
Yeah, it's roughly pretty much a 30-second pit lane, line to line. So,
and that brings Pete Chalmers into P11 who's immediately behind Dreyer with a 15-second penalty. So overall, Chalmers P10. And he's not close enough to Keys to snaffle another position based on timing alone. So it's our Pro-Am leader there, Chalmers, of Kumar, 0.9 behind him. So overall P11, and sliding down to overall 18th position for King. Well, that's 17th position for King, as Uli takes his penalty in the 911 Lamborghini. Our AM driver, G Lau, still leading in position 23. And you're going to say?
We have a question by Dieboles in the chat. Is this the track easiest to get a DT on, or are there easier? Love Coda in F1, but people seem to hate it in ACC. Your thoughts, Damiano?
I didn't like Valencia. I found that turn 2 so easy to abuse. I actually don't. I quite like Paul Ricard. I'm one of the few. But yeah, Kota. I only like it at the straight because it's really easy to drive in a straight line. I should have done drag racing. But it's Kota. Yeah, those lefty righties. They're tough. It's like what people are saying. They need to be a little bit more forgiving, and it'd be really nice. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Did I actually give an answer there at all?
This is a hard track because like it's track limits everywhere, whereas I think Kota is just sector 1 where the track limits are like egregious, because as you said, it's the S's followed by the couple of uphill corners afterwards where like you can't even put like a tire off the track. But also, like, I'm one of the few people that loves Coda, and I want a Coda Enduro. So please, Mole, make it happen. Okay?
Well, that'll be very interesting because the stewards cannot adjust the drive-through for limits.
Nah, just let everyone wear it. Just let everyone wear the drive-through. Short pit lane, you'll be right.
So we've got John Sonicus is challenging Kairuda now, who's dropped a little bit off JP. And Shady Samuel in front with a 2-second gap over JP. As we have another yellow at the top of the circuit. Yeah, I think people's tyres are getting really hammered now. Some of the drivers really struggling to keep the car on the track with melted tyres. So from Volleyball's question earlier, I've been thinking about it. I didn't have issues with track limits here because I was driving around mainly P20. And the cars around me, I wasn't closing in too much and I wasn't losing too much. So whenever I went off circuit, I could go off the accelerator and not take a pen or take a limit hit. And I wouldn't really lose that much time. If I was... I would assume that the faster drivers wouldn't do that because they'd be losing positions far too easily. So I think this circuit would probably be the hardest one for limits.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? And like, it's more, as you said, you're more finding the limits. Like it's an easy question to answer, I guess, in the sense that you're more finding the limits when you're pushing harder, searching for more time, searching to use every single little bit of track. Whereas if you're just aiming for safety and drivability, you're not really going to find those track limits and those cuts.
Very much so. As Marco, as we speak, in P17, kind of 124, is going through the pits for his drive-through. I'm assuming for limits as well. But yes, I remember in rookies, I had 2 seasons in rookies that I never got one track limit. And hence my speed in rookies. Then I found when I started getting faster, I was getting drive-throughs for limits. So it was a good observation there, Connor. The faster you go, you push the limits. You use the more of the edge of the circuit to go faster, which is what you should be doing. And by finding the limit, you got to cross it. As we see Kuma have a move on Chalmers going to Cygnus. Not quite close enough. Going to have another look on the inside for Busa. Chalmers defends quite nicely. Can they keep it together going through the corner? Don't go too high. Staying mid-corner. Excellent. And a good drive-through. There's an interesting limit there if you go too wide. And yes, good defending by Chalmers, keeping Kuma behind for the Pro-Am leader.
So Shady has gapped JP by nearly 4 seconds. He's not probably going to get the 10, but to only do it within like 2 or 3 laps to gap him by nearly 4 seconds. Shady's like really pushing. He's really saying 4.2. He's nearly gapping probably JP by over half a second a lap, I reckon.
I think he's faster than that. I think it was only 1 lap. He's pulled over a second. Mind you, this race has been going very fast, so I will retract my statement and insert a new one saying he's pulling out good gaps.
If he had a little bit longer, like maybe 15, 18, possibly 20 minutes, I reckon he could have got it done and pulled that 10-second gap. But yeah, it's a bit hard with the really limit amount of time he's got.
And also everyone's suffering from the age of the tyres. But the 2 cars are the same, so it depends on setup and I guess driving style. As we have Kuma behind Chalmers going down to straight. Let's see what sort of speed he can pick up. So we're hitting 250 here. And crossing 270 now. Getting very close under the wing. Pulling out at 281, 282. I'm counting. Great commentary. 285. 325 hits the wall. Is he going to stay in the circuit? Looking, yes, stays in the circuit, but could not complete the pass. Chalmers on the inside and doesn't go wide. Stays in tight to not get. Oh, Kuma's close. It's tapped it. Oh no! But great save by Chalmers there. That was remarkable. Unfortunate for Kuma, a little tap there. I'm not sure if you'll get an extra pen for that. But that was great save by Pete Chalmers. What I've seen tonight, I'm going to call that save of the night from what I've seen.
As Tarkin has said in chat, wide buttocks Chalmers in play for the last lap. Definitely, you are correct. He absolutely got very thick just then. But it was great defense and it was a great save to keep it up. Unlucky for Harsh, but that's just how racing goes sometimes. JC has just posted that Peach may be out of fuel. Maybe out of fuel.
Oh. Uh-oh.
With John also very close behind. So we'll keep an eye on this because that's not that's probably one of those heartbreaking things if they're out of fuel. It's going to be tense.
He does look slower, doesn't he? I don't know. Now you say it, it's got the idea in my head and it's gone. He does look not so edgy in the driving. Stay in the high gear.
Yep, just trying to conserve short shift everywhere, roll off, lift and coast. Doesn't matter what your lap time really is. Just try and make it home. Don't try and be too aggressive on the throttle.
Looks very smooth here. We'll see here. Any short shifting? Yeah. Was that a short shift? Not too many. Still going to the red, but not letting it go to the flash. So yeah, I call this short shifting. Because a lot of drivers let the LEDs on the dash flash before they change. Oh, look at the radar. Look how close Kai Rudin is.
Yeah, and Ali's got fuel left. Shady should nearly get P1, I reckon, now. If he's still pushing.
That's 3 seconds.
And he's not... he's defending, but he's not defending really hard. And he's going to get caned a little bit down the straight, which is unfortunate.
Oh, last lap as well. Yep, unfortunately for Kumar. Got 10 seconds for that tap on Chalmers just before, as we have Kai Rudin pull out from behind Sonicus going down the straight.
So it's 2.8 litres a lap. They cross the line with both the Sonicuses, and it's 3.1 litre usage. Can they make it home?
I reckon yes, but there's going to be a lot of suffering and slowness. Hey, they'll be driving at my pace. Nice.
If JP can make it home whilst defending against Ali, that is an incredible fairy tale finish.
Absolutely. 9 seconds gap between Samuel and Sonicus through the last time split. This is going to be a very interesting finish. We got a time delta, an attack. Kai Rudin's having a look on the little nibble. Going wide. Oh, that was close, but yeah, it looked like measured.
Yeah,
is he going to have enough fuel across the line? Enough fuel to cross the line. I think that's a yes. And timing board says yes. And 10 point. Look at the time gap. 10.068.
That
Shady Samuel wins the race with a 10-second penalty. What a race. Excellent job there. Ali Karun, 0.1 behind. So taking on. We got Dryer coming through P9. Chalmers in P11. So we're going, that's Dryer going through P9 with Pete Chalmers is going to get the 10. It's actually going to update as it crosses the line or when we go to the pits? When we go to the pits. Bechtold in P12. Kuma coming back through in P13. Fleming's crossed the line in 15. We got King and Doe's gone through. Well, this is pretty hard to read for the lines changing. Diallo crossing in P21 and G Lau in P22, leading air driver. Job done, man. I think you did very good there. Jay Height, P22. And who else we got? We got Bozic. Bozic's driving to the end. Oh, good job, Bozic, for driving to the end. Respect, matey. That's really, really good. I hope you're still driving. I think you are. And Palmer as well, I think, is still rolling as well.
Yeah, it's
even if you have exciting finish.
Even if you have a rough one, just always try and drive to the end. But yeah, what an incredible finish, hey? It's great management by JP and John to get the car across the line.
It's going to be 3 drivers within 0.1 of a second at the end, you know, if we get to the timetables.
Yeah.
Here we go. Samuel, Sonicus, Kairudin. And look at that gap. 0.068, then 0.169 for P123. Then filling out the top 10, we have John, Sonicus, Mags, Tawfiq, Keys, Maddox, Johnson, and Chalmers finishing out top 10 in Pro-Am. And Keys leading Silver Class there. Silver Class is Keys, Johnson, Backdog. Good job, guys. And Pro-Ams, we have Chalmers, King, and Doe. And into the AM class, we have the provisional Pro-Am driver, G. Lau, Tui, and Mercer. Well done, everyone. As the temperatures come down and the tyres are cooling off, I can see the steam from here. Thank you, Connor, for joining us in the booth.
Thanks for having me. I'd be keen to get some more comms in, some more casts. Thanks to Glenn. What a great stream again. Thanks to everyone for putting on the racing as well. The racing was incredible tonight. Seen some great moves, some great overtakes, great defending, and also give a big shout out to Mull, everyone. Send him your love, send him your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, good call.
And also to our main sponsor, Simrigs. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and don't forget, tonight we have American and European racing as well in Sprint Series.
And the GT3 Cup tomorrow.
And the GT3 Cup tomorrow, if we didn't hear Glenn just now, which I'll be participating in the Pro-Am class. And I think, Connor, you're in the Pro class, correct?
Yes, in the Pro class. Keen to get some racing. It's in terms of those categories and those classes, it's the best of the best. So keen to duke it out with everyone and see where you stand.
Excellent. Please tune in. Thank you, everyone. I'm Damiano, and I'll catch you later.